the Charter of the United Nations established a trusteeship system in order to replace the mandate system. Additionally, Article 73 of the UN Charter confirmed and expanded the concept of the sacred trust to all, I quote, territories whose peoples have not yet attained full measure of self-government, end of quote. In other words, to the colonies of the victorious European powers. And furthermore, the UN Charter referred to the self-determination of peoples in Article 1, paragraph 2, and also in Article 55. Which peoples were envisaged to have such self-determination right, and what that right precisely meant was not very clear at the time the Charter was negotiated. However, because the drafters of the Charter included representatives of the United Kingdom and of France, two powers with huge colonial empires at the end of the Second World War, because of that, it is quite unlikely that they envisaged to bestow to their colonies with more benefits than the ones envisaged under Article 73. When referring to the self-determination of peoples in the context of the development of friendly relations among nations in Article 1 and 55, the drafters of the UN Charter probably had in mind the need to respect the fact that there were already deep political differences between Soviet-style democracies and liberal democracies. However, those provisions did not stabilize European colonies around the world. After the great sacrifices imposed on them by the war, peoples in the colonies were longing for freedom and for self-government. India became independent in 1947. Ghana was the first African country to reach independence 10 years later. And in the meantime, both in Asia and in Africa, bloody colonial conflicts arose, notably in Indochina and Algeria. The fight against colonialism, which was first and foremost, of course, a moral imperative and a lifelong political struggle for many around the globe, gradually became a legal obligation. And the landmark development in that regard, in that legal evolution, was a short 15 years after the UN Charter was concluded, was the adoption by the General Assembly of the UN of Resolution 1514 on 14 December 1960. The resolution is entitled Declaration on the Granting of Independence to Colonial Countries and Peoples. And you will find the text of the declaration in the next reading. In substance, it proclaimed the, I quote, necessity of bringing to a speedy and unconditional end colonialism in all its forms and manifestations. Peoples living in non-self-governing territories and peoples subject to alien subjugation, domination and exploitation were granted the right to self-determination. That is, the right to freely determine their political status, including attaining complete independence by becoming states. Self-determination of peoples acquired a new external dimension to the benefit of a certain category of peoples. Having the right to become independent, the colonial peoples were thus granted a form of legal personality. And the paradox of the right to self-determination bestowed upon those peoples is that its single use results in the birth of states. And once the state is born, the people somehow disappears, or at least has exhausted its right to self-determination by realizing it. 10 years after Resolution 1514, the General Assembly reaffirmed the right of peoples to self-determination in the, I quote, Declaration on Principles of International Law Concerning Friendly Relations and Cooperation Among States, Resolution 2625 of October 1970. Interpreting the sacred trust of civilization under Article 22 of the League of Nations Covenant, half a century later, the International Court of Justice concluded in its advisory opinion on the legal consequences of the continued presence of South Africa in Namibia. The court concluded that, I quote, The ultimate objective of the Sacred Trust was the self-determination and independence of the peoples concerned, end of quote. The right of peoples to self-determination, understood as the right of colonial peoples to secede from the colonial power and become an independent state, that right brought about a revolutionary change in the composition and the concerns of the international community. In 1950, there were 60 UN member states. In 1961, after Resolution 1514 was adopted, there were 104. In 1970, there were 127. In other words, the international community of states more than doubled within 20 years, and the numbers continued to increase. No doubt, the outlawry of colonialism through the right of colonial peoples and peoples under alien domination to become independent, that right is now a fundamental principle of international law. And it might seem self-evident today, but one has nevertheless to measure the incredible change it brought about. For many generations in Europe, colonialism had been considered a noble task and a lifelong project, and it was now radically prohibited, and today it is simply unthinkable. On 2 occasions, the International Court of Justice made clear that the right of peoples to self-determination is now a right erga omnes. We shall see later in the course what it means for a right or for an obligation to be erga omnes. But suffice it to say, for the moment, that it must be respected by all, and it entails the right of all states to request its respect. In other words, if a colonial power were to refuse to grant independence to the people under its domination, it would not only be a violation of international law vis-à-vis the colonial people at stake, but also vis-à-vis all the other states and peoples. In the following sequence, we'll turn to a question that certainly has crossed your mind. Are colonial peoples and the peoples under alien subjugation, domination, and exploitations, are those people the only people to have the right to self-determination, understood as the right, the entitlement to secede and to become a new state? Or are other peoples endowed with the same right?
One of them is Nigeria to free the organization, just for the arrest. Because of stop of free, who cannot free, they want to free bodies, who are the guy. Who hope to have back with the enemy. I found it also to the one no another. No one to that no one. What I think is that I'm about to no one to watch us.
Sunday Adéyẹmí Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń dàmọ̀ láyà bí ara orúkọ tó ń dẹ̀rù bó lórúkọ gan. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sọ torí pé wòrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lọ́dà kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. Ọ̀wọ́n ẹni ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan lè ní má lọ mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ àti mọ̀ṣọ́ kọ́ká lè débi rẹ̀. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àjọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nínú alágbàdo òde ọmọ atakẹ́tẹ́ wọnú omi ọmọ gègèrè wodò sọ̀yà ìsọ̀yà òrẹ́rìn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò sí náà ń kán sí i lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ṣe yín ní dábọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sánrán ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn lálàsí bẹ́rẹ́ wọn ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀sìn gbà bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho áfíkan pọpọ sí ámúkan yòókù bọ sànyà átúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ áfíṣẹ́rú wálé wàrà kùdì ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ṣèṣèṣèṣè tọ́láwọn oníbomi kó símú wọn láwọn oníbomi sànyà wẹ̀sẹ̀ ìgbà lójú kòkòrò kọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó símú wọ́n sì bomi sànyà wẹ̀sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé tí wọ́n sọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onílẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta òṣèlú fún wọn ìmọ̀ràn lásán ní ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́ sí ti kó dòdò láyé yìí ó kù díẹ̀ ìtọ́ domi láéláyé ìtọ́ mi lè domi Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti bí tó ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó.
Mic check, mic check. I believe the mic is back. Am I being? Mic check, mic check. Multi problem and so I'm rectify it. My bar is moving now, so we're good to go. Am I being? Sometimes there's a bit of touch, so the audio is back now. I can hear myself, but I don't know why we're not connecting to the studio yet. Actually, gonna hear what I work with. But the volume I am but the volume is back now. I can see the bar. I think we're having connection problem to the studio. I refresh. Intervals of the volume. I refresh. Seems to be a problem from the studio. Restart my system. So yeah, can restart system while we are doing that. As we prepare for our program again this morning. Let's probably hear this until we're ready to go.
They wanted to be separate from the country that the British Empire had imposed on us, which was this country of Nigeria, where they kind of took a bunch of independent nations who don't have anything to do with each other, don't even speak each other's language, don't relate. Many of them were even enemies or warring at the time. Smushed them all together and drew these arbitrary lines around them and called them countries and named those countries. Right. And then said, now y'all get along and do a country for us and be a union for us. And then go through contentious, bloody independence processes that never really yield any real independence. You're still part of a commonwealth afterwards. And you have the eternal meddling in your affairs and the eternal extraction of your resources. And the eternal fomenting of divisiveness and infighting in order to be able to control you. This is what an oppressor does, a colonizer does. These are tactics and strategies of Dom. We were subjected to that as a larger unit of Nigeria. And then when the Igbo people said, we want our own thing, let's go and do that. Well, it so happened to be that the territory that this new country of Biafra was going to be in included very, very rich oil reserves. And the British were not going to let go of that. And the people that they had put in power, their puppet Nigerian governments, weren't going to do that either, because they needed it for the Nigerian project. And Britain needed it for its own interests and uses. So, Great Britain got directly involved in this civil war and in the war for independence, and decided that they would do everything to make sure that Biafra did not go.
Wow.
And this everything meant directly funding genocide of the people of Biafra. They wanted to be separate from the country that the British Empire had imposed on us, which was this country of Nigeria, where they kind of took a bunch of independent nations who don't have anything to do with each other, don't even speak each other's language, don't relate. Many of them were even enemies and warring at the time, smushed them all together and drew these arbitrary lines around them and called them countries and named those countries.
Right.
And then said, now y'all get along and do a country for us and be a union for us. And then go through, contentious, bloody independence processes that never really yield any real independence. You're still part of a commonwealth afterwards.
True.
And you have the eternal meddling in your affairs and the eternal extraction of your resources and the eternal fomenting of divisiveness and infighting in order to be able to control you. This is what an oppressor does, a colonizer does. These are tactics and strategies of dominance.
Right.
We were subjected to that as a larger unit of Nigeria. And then when the Igbo people said, we want our own thing, let's go and do that. Well, it so happened to be that the territory that this new country of Biafra was going to be in included very, very rich oil reserves. And the British were not going to let go of that.
Wow.
And the people that they had put in power, their puppet Nigerian governments weren't going to do that either because they needed it for the Nigerian project.
Right.
And Britain needed it for its own interests and uses. So Great Britain got directly involved in this civil war and in the war for independence and decided that they would do everything to make sure that Biafra did not go.
Wow.
And this everything meant directly funding genocide of the people of Biafra.
We're still having a connection problem back to the studio, so we wait and see. Maybe we should just watch another clip. Another clip from Professor. I've been watching a lot of these yesterday. And to follow a lot of timeline. I post on Milano. I got them from this man. It's more of like, international law. He talks about a few things as well. Some of his videos are like 6 years ago, but Lara won't tell me not to sorrow Lori Mori Ninre. While we are waiting for Starr Radio UK. I think I watched this one already. New State and Borders. Let's watch this.
As you are well aware, disputes about territorial delimitation and borders have been recurrent in interstate relations throughout history. Wars have been fought over territories, but hopefully peaceful means of dispute settlement have also been developed and often used in matters of border disputes. It is beyond the scope of discourse to review all rules of international law relating to land or to maritime delimitation, but it is important to mention some of them in relation to the emergence of new states. The first rule to be mentioned is the automatic succession of states to treaties establishing international borders. Borders are usually established by common agreement between the states concerned, and those treaties are, as we shall see later when addressing the law of treaties, those treaties are binding on the contracting parties, and on the contracting parties only. As a matter of principle, treaties are not binding on third states, that is, on states that are not parties to them. And when a new state emerges as a result of a secession, that new state is by definition a new subject of international law, and it is not party to the border treaties that were concluded prior to its emergence. For instance, when Czechoslovakia disappeared as a state and was succeeded by the Czech Republic and
All right, Mabino, we're having a bit of technical problem back to the studio, so I'll go video to be later. So I'm going to be speaking with them with the phone rather than the Skype. Our Skype is not picking back into the studio, so I have to move this. I'm going to have to move on YORÀBÁ so that I will sit on the other computer. It might be known to sometimes, these things happen. All right, so we're back on now. So, all right, hold on. Okay. I'm struggling to hear you. It seems the audio is a bit low. Maybe you want to turn it up a little bit. Still a little bit low, but we struggle. We just manage it because I'm struggling to hear you. Bear with us. Let's see.
Okay, I'm using my mobile phone instead.
Okay,
that will be stronger.
All right, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, listen to Starr RadioUK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's see whether Yomi can hear us. Hello, Yomi.
Yeah, I can hear you. Very good morning. I can hear you.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. All right then, good. All right then. Yes, apologies, listeners, for that. What is happening when it comes to the connectivity? But as I said earlier, we are still working on it. As I want to we'll go back to Yomi. and we see his beautiful face there. Yes, so how are you and how is your family as well?
Well, we're doing very well. The family is good. We give thanks as usual. We're grateful. When you're alive, there's a lot to be grateful, and which is the most important thing. And I say good morning, good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe, and welcome to Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes. Okay, I mean, I know that we spent much of our time trying to do all the connections, but we'll still go on because we are here to deliver 2 or 4 hour highly cherished listeners. Now, first of all, let's come straight to one thing that we'll be talking about since I think last week they're pertaining to the university students as to whether they were going to be allowed to come home so that they can get themselves their PVCs and then get themselves the to be able to vote as well, and that has been granted. What update do you have on that, please?
Yes, yesterday, after the long-awaited, whether the university would go into a bit of break, while the election is being planned. And yes, you're quite right. The federal government has vowed to pressure, and they've eventually now allowed the university to be shut down completely, until after the election, which is going to be the governorship election we're talking about. So yesterday, the news filtered through, and as the students will be making their way back in time to get to different, because most people have registered in different states. So if you're schooling in the north, then you definitely make your way back, as quickly as possible into the state of where your PVC was registered. So I can confirm that yes, the students will be making their way back, and that is exactly the news coming out. Quite a lot of people are also happy about that, and the reason for that is let's look at what the some of the headline that came out of it this morning. We have, as an example, the Bell University. Already even INEC is wary about university nominant and ex-convict partisan lecturer as collation returning officer. That's a different thing entirely. But if we go to, where the students will be making their way back this morning, according to the VC, ASUs have disagreed, as federal government shut university. So again, the Academic Staff Union of University has condemned the directive of the National University Commissions to the Committee of the Vice Chancellors of Nigeria University that universities should be shut to enable students to participate in this forthcoming election. But the NUC gave a directive in a letter on Tuesday addressed to the Vice Chancellors of all universities and directors of the inter-university centers. The commission noted that the directive was based on instruction from Adamu, the education minister. The letter partly read, as the Vice Chancellor of all universities and the directors and the chief executives of inter-university centers, we are quite aware that the 2023 general elections have been scheduled to hold on Saturday. Why the long term? I mean, today is still the 10th day. So if you calculate the 25th from now, we're talking about almost 15 days before the election. And, what could be the warrant, that is given that 15 days? Could it be maybe just for them to be also able, to settle down or what? But again, it seems some of the universities are also not pleased that this is coming up at this particular time. So as a request, the Vice Chancellor and the Chief Executive of the inter-university centers are requested by the circular to close their respective institution from yesterday, just after we left the program, up to the 14th. That means almost, we're talking about almost a month plus that the university will be shut.
Now, so why is ASU angry? I mean, why are they angry about everything that is going on? Because people have to go, the students have to go in, they've registered, they need to go in to go and vote and do whatever things. But now ASU is upset. People are ASU, whilst they were on strike and the students were begging that they needed to come to back and so that the lectures and lecturing can go on. They were adamant. They didn't want to do it. So why now?
Well, they were adamant because they were not getting paid. So that is a different thing entirely. So this time around, they believe that, the student last year spent less than almost 4 months in the university. They were actually out of university and its tertiary institution for almost 8 months. So we are now seeing that the situation is that the ASU believe that the federal government maybe should not have given, even if they're going to be closing, remember it's a Saturday, maybe that could have been done some few more days before the election. But why now, in terms of almost 15 days? We do know that I was looking at the statistics from, the social media. There's about almost 76 million Nigerian youth under 46 years old. And that means the participation, is quite very, very important, and that is why the belief is that maybe they can get, as quickly as possible, back to their different areas of life, and then they can be able to do so. I'm also getting, images. We're going to be talking about that, right inside the presidential villa, all smiles from the, from President Muhammadu Buhari, the former president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. We can also say, there is also Abdusalam Abubakar, and there's also Gowon. And I believe that there is currently presiding over the Council of State meeting in the council chambers of the president. The meeting will primarily focus on the issues affecting the country, such as the petrol, the naira scarcity, the insecurity, and others. But as much as you cannot be able to see the images, but those that are watching us from the sister broadcast will be able to see that. But these are the former previous leaders that have also been part of ASU Rock for a very long time. And it's all smiles. I mean, you can see, it looks like Jonathan has put on more weight. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Well, is Jonathan chopping some money like well, listeners, it is Starr RadioUK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The technical team are working on the system. We might get Miss Olayomi's image pretty soon, but just bear with us whilst the technical update still goes on there. But it is Starr RadioUK. Now, let's talk about the PVC collection. Now, I bet there was a date that was set for the final collection of the PVCs, right?
Yes.
So, as a student, I mean, looking at the way it's been difficult, and some areas that the INEC offices have been burnt down and stuff like that, do you think releasing the students now, how many days, 15 days before the election, or only 14 days before election, anything can be done about that?
Well, I'm not sure much can be done, because the Nigerian national election even extended the PVC collation for about a week. And this was around January when that was done. So I'm not sure that is enough time. I mean, the deadline has already passed anyway. So we're talking about, the 5th of February, which is just about 5 days ago. So that means anyone that has not yet collected their PVC might not be able to do so in time before the election. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, that extended the ongoing collation of the permanent voters card nationwide up to the 5th of February, and today is the 10th. That means that maybe, PVC might not be matter, more ATM needs to work to get money out of the machine. And as of today, there's still a lot of inconsequential around whether the deadline is done or is not done yet, as confusion deepens as the CBN. So even the student that might want to come back home might not have the money from their bank because of the situation that is going on. So they're probably still stuck. If some people have the money, but they can't withdraw, and those that doesn't even have, there's a lot of pressure. And as of today, we've been talking about it, is the last day. It seems that there's also confusion, as there's a court case that is currently going on. It's not going to be heard until the 15th of February. And that literally means that, the court has fixed 15th of February to entertain the case. However, the Attorney General of the Federation, or Minister Justice Abubakar Malami, SAN, in response to the suit later yesterday, among other things, say the Supreme Court lacked the jurisdiction on the matter. So a lot of Nigerians are thrown into confusion this morning whether or not money that they have can be used, even though Kaduna State Governor was saying that can be used But that is different from what the federal government is saying. So there's a lot of confusion. The PVC cannot be, collected anymore. The deadline has passed. Or maybe they just want the student to be far out of the vicinity that they are not comfortable with. Because in as much as a lot of people school outside their domain, that means that you're not voting there. And in case the crisis starts, then they should be at the right place. As the Biafra is saying that is a good thing, and at least they'll be sitting at home when they get to the Biafra land.
Listeners, just bear with us. I think the technical team are saying that they've got a connection. So let's see whether Yomi can pick up. But once we are doing that, station in London, bring the time down. But once we are doing on now. So let's see whether we can hear your live. Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me back.
Yes, loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear. Thank you very, very much, listeners. We thank you for your patience. As we did say earlier on, technical issues do happen. All right then. Now, so let's move on straight to the Supreme Court ruling that the AG is saying that they have no jurisdiction to rule on that. Because today they're supposed to be the final day. Nigerians, especially bank customers, were gripped with confusion and uncertainty over whether today's deadline by the Central Bank of Nigeria for the phasing out of the old Naira note still remains or it has been suspended. But some information that I got earlier on, let me bring that away. Just bear with me as I go straight to that. That says that, my apologies. I'm trying to get that quickly, but I can just link it all up nicely. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's eluded me. But it was like the federal government was now saying that they are going to adhere to the ruling of the Supreme Court.
Yeah. I mean, there is, information that I picked up. It's just that, the problem in Nigeria is, this is where, the federal government, information portal needs to be working, especially with the confusion in line. I mean, I already picked this on the Twitter from my, Femi Fanikaude, who is also one of the APC that is excited that, the federal government have eventually bowed to the pressure by allowing, the extension of the use of the old Naira note, which means that today, you can still be able to use it. Even though out there in the public, I mean, most of them are not on the Twitter, they're not on the social media. So we might be able to know these, but those on the ground in the rural area are probably not even aware whether the deadline has been done or not, or whether the deadline is still in continuation as well. But yes, I can confirm that, from, Femi Fanikaude, also a member of the APC strong team that says that the federal government has bowed to the will of the Supreme Court and declared that the old Naira notes remain a legal tender unless and until the court says otherwise. But when you go and look at the papers that were printed out today, which will be in circulation in Nigeria, none of them have got such a news until they probably have to now quickly update from their social media. But the question is, with a lot of Nigerians that use a kind of phone that we call Tonosobe, which is the old Nokia 3310, most of them will probably not even be aware. And even if they have to listen to the local radio, there's no electricity to follow those radio. And even if those radio have to be run on battery, they haven't got the money to buy the battery in the first place. So there's a lot of tension on the ground. But yes, it's just a mixed bag of information coming out of Nigeria, because the headline that we have, that was printed, even those headlines have not yet been updated on the social media website of some of these news portals back home. And that is where it becomes confusion. As Fela will say, confusion is all over the place.
Well, confusion is all over the place, but not in Starr RadioUK. We are bringing you everything that you need to know. I see Minister Rick says, good morning, brother Koiki, and good morning to you, Miss Archie, with the other team, every one of the team. And we also say good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for your patience as well when we're having that technical team. I sincerely apologize for that. But now let's move on to some other stories making the round. Over to you, John.
Well, it seems as they're discussing the new naira now, the compliance, the Supreme Court. The lawyer Nnamdi Kanu is also saying federal government should also comply with the order releasing Kanu, according to the lawyers. So, the leader of the indigenous people has been, after the rendition, the kidnapping back into the country, even though the court has subjected that, he is acquitted and discharged, but the federal government is still adamant to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. His health is becoming a little bit worried for, his list, his followers, and his lawyers have been talking about this for some time. There was a report that was coming from the lawyer yesterday as well. We'll see if we can bring that up in just, about a few minutes as well. But what we can say, according to the lawyer, says that, if Nnamdi Kanu can also be, looked into, and it goes like this. Aloy Ejimako, the special counsel to the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has said those asking the federal government to comply with the Supreme Court judgment extending the deadline of the old naira note should also ask it to comply with the court ruling that released Nnamdi Kanu. He actually posted this on his Twitter handle this morning, adding that all the judgments are equal. Ejimako wrote, those asking the federal government to obey the Supreme Court judgment extending the old naira note should be doing the same thing as well. And again, we do know that the appeal sitting in Abuja quashed all the 15-count terrorism charge preferred against the detained leader by the federal government. So the question then is, this is just a government, of nepotism, a government that doesn't, have concern for rule of law. And in a society where there is no rule of law, there will be chaos and there will be anarchy. And that is why those that are campaigning for the right to, just as, we know that the same thing was applied to Dr. Oloye Sunday IGBOHO, that was meant to have been even paid by the federal government, but the federal government refused to do so. And this is also bringing a lot of anger to average person as well. So we're going to go straight back into some of the other headlines briefly because of the time spent already. As we said earlier, we'll see if we can get that image of the, the vice president, the previous, leaders that are in attendance as well. President Muhammadu Buhari has also, says that, he's already preparing his exit out of the country. Out of being the president, rather. So what we can say is, apart from Obasanjo, Gowon Jonathan Obasanjo, all attending a state of the council meeting. So I will be bringing that up in just about a few minutes, for the benefit of those that are watching us this morning. Once again, the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, is currently sharing the Council of State meeting holding at the council chamber at the State House in Abuja. The first in 2023, the meeting comes 14 days before the presidential election amid the twine crisis facing the economy, the fuel scarcity, the cash crunch occasioned by the central bank and the Naira redesign as well. So we're going to bring those images up, for those, and like I said, it seems that all is going well in Aso Rock, as more Nigerians are asking, where is the government to come and, hate them with so many things that they are facing presently. And yes, the engineer have got that. And right there is the images coming from Aso Rock as we speak right now. So right there's the president, wearing almost the same white that I'm putting on. It's a Friday. And likewise, that's Gowon Abdulsalam Abubakar. He was part of those that created the military decree 1999 constitution that a lot of people talked about. And the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and right there as well is also Gowon as well in that particular meeting. So what do they normally discuss? But former President Olusegun Obasanjo is joining the IBRA meeting virtually as the only, but about 14 governors are also present both physically and virtually, with some represented by their deputies. Also present are the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, the Attorney General of the Federation. This kind of a session comes up all the time. It was happening also during the time of Jonathan and the rest as well. But what is the gain of it, especially that the 14 days coming is a lot of pressure for Nigeria and Nigerian as a whole. We also know that violence, we will defend ourselves. Kano APC is promising that as well. Also, We can also confirm that Kano government files sues federal government over the Naira redesign policy is also. We also, some of the other headline that we have briefly because of the time this morning. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. Only your prayers can save Nigeria, Obi tells Adeboye and Oyedepo and the PFN. A lot of Nigerians say that it seems that we rely too much on prayer, whether those will solve a lot of our problems. But some say that we still need a prayer because it seems that the demon that is running Nigeria needs to be either pray over so that things can become much better. But let's hear what this conversation is all about this morning. Peter Obi, the presidential standard bearer on the platform of the Labour Party, has called on the church to pray for the emergency of a president that will use public funds for public good. Mr. Obi stated this at the 17th Biennial Conference of the Pentecost Fellowship Church, PFN, holding in Yenagua, featuring Enoch Adeboye, David Oyedepo, David Ibiyomi, Mike Okonwo, Felix Omobudi, and the PFN president, Francis Wale. Okay, these are top gun churches in Nigeria. Some of them have got branches all over the world, and they have strong followership. He said Nigeria had gone through a lot, and the prayers of the church had kept the country together. I'm not sure everybody agrees to that view. I want to ask for your prayer for Nigeria as we gather here. I will ask for your prayer point. My prayer point as we go for the election, may God Almighty ensure that Nigeria elects somebody with character, somebody who is competent, somebody who will respect our religious right. Mr. B appeal. Mr. Presidential candidate says, may God continue to touch the politician so that we use public money for the public good. I do not think without prayers, Nigeria will be where it is today. Nigeria has gone through what no country has gone through and is still standing. Well, I'm not sure whether it's going to stand until the election because of the so many insecurity that is happening. I'm going to go move straight to the social media as well. Let's see what is trending on the social media this morning. Let's see some of the comment coming under the what is going on. I hardly see OBJ at the end of this meeting. We do know that OBJ, the former vice president, as well, is is joining that meeting virtually, according to the report. I think this is according to ESME, I think this is the first council of the state meeting since 2019. Somebody said, my own be say, make una give us Obi. General Kubu Gowon looking very good. How old is he again? Somebody is asking. And, it seems that, if you're the ex-president of the country, you are meant to be taken care of. First and second frame, blue cap, nigger. That is coming from somebody as well there. So let's take a look at, some of the other things trending on the social media this morning. David Odoye is trending, and I believe it's because there's a spark going on between two artists, Seun Kuti and Peter Okoye, I believe P-Square, and this is bringing a lot of banter back to forth in there as well. Ashake is trending as well. Japa means people that are planning to travel out of Nigeria, as a lot of Nigerians were applying for their passport. Whether they're getting visa is a different thing entirely, but we do know that a lot of them are getting their passport to Japa yesterday. Also, a picture here put by Simon Ekpa. This is Nigerian security in Anambra State. The security has been finalized. Where in the world will you see security agent with a long machete to use to butcher innocent people like animals? And again, as Nigerians have been asked, let's play this 30-second clip that I was preparing before we were having a bit of more technical issues. So this individual was asked, his views about Nigeria, and he says, even if you dash me Nigerian president, I would decline it. Why? Because Nigeria is workable. Every tribe should live in their own pace and develop it. Let's hear what he has to say.
Understand the fellow Hausa, they do their things on their own way, on their own rule and on their own way, on their own way of life. There is so different types of way of life now. Yoruba people, they're going to do their own based on their own culture. People will just do their own. If they want to do anything, they do. Like, don't be saying I buy fight. Yes. Like, just do everybody there, so that outside people they repair their own side. People they repair their own side. Sure. But if I make one person just stand, say want to repair the whole country, and I mean I see as best way such way no be possible.
What? If somebody wants to repair that country, it's not possible. But Peter Obi believes that with prayer, we can have a lot of things sorted out where we pray for our politicians to make use of the public fund. And as we speak this morning, Yaya Bello wife, the Kogi state governor is under the searchlight of the EFCC. She's no longer in the country, but she's been asked to come and report herself, to the EFCC for a fraud allegation of a tune of 3 billion naira.
Well, listeners, start really looking at Olayomi Koiki, London, not London studios, to give you updates from Nigeria. And we know we are pressed with time, but we just touch on a couple of stories there, and then we will read. Now, first of all, let's talk about the history. Now, tensions in the Delta community as gunmen ambushed Nigeria army troops and killed 4 of them. Now, this means that the military or the security agencies are going to now try to clamp down on them. But before you say so, now as this Brother Sharif says that Aquarius man will happen. So he predicted what is going to happen in Aquarius man. But yes, over to you.
Well, anywhere military gets attacked, they rest assured that they will go back, even if they are not asked to do, and they will retaliate. As we do know that in the southeast part of Nigeria, it has been a lot of tension between the southeast and the military. The military has also committed a lot of atrocity there, but there's also a reprisal back, by individuals that are well connected with the politicians. We keep saying, a lot of people keep thinking it's got to do with the Biafra. I have record of it. Maybe on Monday we'll prepare it. The Imo State governor said it that some of the most atrocity, the INEC burning in that particular state, is done by the opposition. And it is not just happening alone in the southeast. Let me bring you closer to home. A soldier stabbed Lagos trader to death over 100 naira. I mean, these are part of the atrocity that is going on in Nigeria. Also, soldier, according to the report, destroyed what they call IPOB shrine and anti-poll poster, according to the Nigerian security. So we will see a lot of pressure before the end of this month. Tanker crash exploded on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is the news coming as well. A tanker has exploded in flames following a crash in Ogun State area of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway between Fidiwo Bridge and Foursquare, causing traffic. The unregistered tanker reportedly exploded at about 7:30 a.m. this morning. The Ogun State Federal Road Safety Corps spokesman Florence Okpa confirmed the incident, adding that 3 persons were involved in the accident, but no death or injury was recorded. Starr RadioUK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So what we're expecting in the next 15 days is going to be a lot of tension. And as the Biafras are saying that to avoid tension between their citizen and the state and them that want their right to self-determination, dates have been set aside. The Yorubas have not come up with anything yet, but what we have been told is we should be preparing for a massive turnout that is going to be coming up anytime soon as well.
Well, let's start really looking. Now, I know that the president has made them form a transition body, so that means that it looks like the election is going to take place. If that transition body has been formed.
Well, these things can easily be said, but we wouldn't know whether the transition body is just to prepare the mind of Nigerians. But it is a good thing. I mean, that shows that the president himself, is getting himself ready, to leave the office as quickly as possible and hand over. But all this will be subject to if the whole process goes smoothly. I mean, we're talking about the next 15 days that makes either Nigeria will remain or will also bring Nigeria into the dim light of the international media that have not literally been talking. I mean, we have been talking about this issue for a very long time, but all of the medias outside will definitely have to come true, because if those that are asking for their right refuse, to go and vote, and there are also going to be confrontation between them and the military, then there will be a lot to report in the next 15 days. So it is a great thing that the president is putting this transition in place quickly, but that still doesn't guarantee that it will give us, the final part of Nigeria as we speak.
Well, listeners, it is Starr RadioUK update from Nigeria. I know that our time is fast spent, and once again, we apologize sincerely for what happened earlier on the technical difficulty. But let's say there is never good news coming out of Nigeria. Too sad. And he goes on to say, good morning, white lion research. Much love and respect to everyone. And much love to you as well, Olayomi. I hope you are doing very, very well as well. So, Yomi, before we round up the conversation, thanks for the time and everything.
Well, as we go again for the weekend, let's just be security conscious, which is the most important thing. We cannot be security conscious enough. Even here in UK, things does happen as well. I was speaking of a story. A young Nigerian studying in Glasgow was, walking on the street, and there was a accident that eventually she died on the spot. She is not living in Nigeria. She lives miles away in a country where, as rule of law, the driver has been bailed, but inquiry continue. But these are kind of situations that can happen. So once again, as we leave you, make sure you stay tuned with us over the weekend for so many other programs. I will be back again on Monday morning when we join you for the news from Nigeria.
Let me say thank you very much for another wonderful update.
Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi again in our London studios, and once again, I apologize sincerely for the earlier technical issue.
Well, that is coming from the Starr Radio. There might be a lot of technical problem this morning, but we were able to resolve a little bit. Moki our Princess Adebimpe Ekaro. Moki Babawa Sunday Adebanjo Ismaila Jadiba Sabiru. Mr. John, thank you so much. We're just gonna, because I have just under 2 hours, so we'll manage our timing this morning to educate us briefly. We won't end the broadcast so that we just continue with it as we did yesterday. But I hope to end my broadcast at exactly 2 o'clock because of some other engagement that I need to do as well. So let me change the screen and bring my own screen back. I say thank you so much to Archie and Frank, Ekaro Yawa, Pastor Mo, Moki Gbogbo, Awa Iromo Alade, Nibi Kibiti, Eledu Maribani, Kawa Laroy. Again, if you're asking what kind of software we use, it is called the OBS. It's a free software that allows us to do what we are doing right now, and that's the beauty of technology. Technology has become available or cheap, but also you can use it to train yourself. You can use it to do so many things as well. But one thing is, and these are the criminals. They're all criminals, all these old men. So if anybody thinks that they are going to save your life, they're going to make your life better, you better run away from each one of them. They're all criminals. So let's just leave those ones. Let me go back to, there are a few things, Timo, I was going through yesterday, and I want to share that with us this morning as we go into our own program. Like I said, normally we should be starting a fresh program, which will not merge with this, but we can just say we club it together as we have been doing. So in Starr Radio, I can continue that in my boiling on it. So I want to switch things around, and then we can I want one pariwo Nigeria, that when Nigeria and those of us asking, I was privileged to be watching Balogun Ekolano and Alaja Ara one interview Elano. But I watched a bit of it and told about the interview page one on YouTube. He said a lot of things, which everybody has a right. Tinubu don't support me, even though only gbogbo tó ń sọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu òun kò jẹ́ ó ṣì wà bó ṣe wà. So it's just that we believe there are few things he talked about, which are my reference to this morning. Camera these are always the views. Everybody has the right and the views, but the problem see our Yoruba, our can expect gbogbo wa inú agbọ́dọ̀ kò ká decide gbogbo wa fẹ́ lọ. If we wait on that ground, tí Fúlàní máa fi wọlé tó fi máa gba gbogbo ntí àwa rò pa wà lání, then it will be too late. But people like us are not going to back down. We will continue to educate ourselves and give you all the reasons why Nigeria is not worth even dying for, not to talk about even trying to save. Okay, I'm getting another, I don't know what is going on, but there's a fire with our KOIKIMEDIA team somewhere. Let's quickly connect to them. Let me close all the browser a little bit. There's a fire somewhere. I don't know what is going on. Let's see. Yeah, it is right there. There's always something happening in that shit country. I guess this is about them.
So, you know what? I need to buy low. I can take a really and it's right. Once again, KOIKIMEDIA will take the world closer to your doorstep. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Around team what on the ground only, so I guess it's just you know what is happening on the ground there. Moki Wale can say níbi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa tẹ́ ti ń wò wá. A gbọ́ fídíò máa yín lẹ́ǹkan. There are few things he talked about. Gowan is 88. Okay. So we are back here on our own conversation as we continue to review and ask questions around the legitimacy of Nigeria. The international law, kini international law, international law. On self-determination. According to International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, all people have the right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they are freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic and social and cultural development. But how easy ni ọ̀rọ̀ yìí? Òun ni ìbéèrè tí mo fẹ́ béèrè láàárọ̀ yìí. Tá bá sọ pé international law ó allow wa fún our right, but how easy ni right yìí láti gbà? Ẹ mọ̀ gbogbo àná la mọ̀ pé a ní right to self-determination, but báwo ló ṣe easy gangan láti gba ẹ̀tọ́ yìí? ẹ̀tọ́ táwa ń béèrè fún yìí báwo gangan ló ṣe easy láti gbà láti lè rí lò. Good morning bàbá wa Ọlágúnjí Ọlárìnwájú. Please, you have anyone that can assist me to travel? Àmọ́ pààyàn I should travel lórí platform ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá Nation la gbé dání o. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ìyáwó Gbémisọ́lá Lawal Adékúnlé Rufus KABIRU. Ẹ má bínú pé there were a little bit of glitch this morning. How easy ni ọ̀rọ̀ yìí? Tá bá ń sọ pé international law lórí ọ̀rọ̀ self-determination, because the argument táwọn kan sọ ni pé a fẹ́ lọ lóòótọ́ but a ní the relinquistic means tá lè fi lọ. Mo fẹ́ lọ mú fídíò tí interview tí wọ́n grant ẹ̀yà ká wò bí a mo lè rí bọ̀ olówó àná. A lot of videos that I watch. Okay, bàbá náà sọ̀rọ̀ briefly a day before. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wò, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́. And I guess this is almost the same argument that a lot of ọmọ Yorùbá náà bá ń sọ. Ǹbọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká.
Ó máa kó nǹkan bá mi. Bàbá gbogbo ìyá Buhari ìgbà tó débẹ̀, almost 8 months ló wá lò ní UK ní báyìí. Tó kọ́kọ́ wá fi tún ara ẹ̀ ṣe lọ́dún fi jẹ ọmọ kékeré. Ẹni tó wà ń bẹ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ náà ti sọ kọjá. Wípé privilege ní kéèyàn jẹ president. Ó máa dán fún dáa. Ọ̀tọ́ wà ń bẹ̀ pẹ̀. Ẹ kó ṣe nǹkan kan kò lè lọ. Ọwọ́ tí ìgbà yẹn yẹn fẹ́. Ẹ sì dúró yẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀.
But it is.
It's a country on its own.
But igi kan ò lè dágbó ṣe.
Igi kan ò lè dágbó ṣe ń tòótọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ tí Èkó bá lead ṣe ń gbọ́.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí n fèsì sí ọ̀rọ̀ dọ́kítọ̀rọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ibi àti àjọ wà ní stúdíò ní àjọba sọ. Ṣé rí àwọn kápẹ́yà àǹfààní tó wà díẹ̀ ó ti pọ̀ jù. Because àwọn founding fathers wa wọ́n ṣe rí. Ó dẹ̀ wọ́n bí àwọn to memory tó dẹ̀ wà ní orí púpọ̀ nínú àwọn tó benefit nínú self-governance yẹn. Wọ́n yìí fi agitate tó yẹ pé ìkọ̀ dáadáa ṣojú wọn, ìkọ̀ dáadáa máa ṣojú gbogbo àwa náà.
Àmì Ọlọ́run.
Jẹ́rí àǹfààní wà ń bẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ní ìgbà tí àwọn bàbá yìí ṣe ẹnu wọn kò bí ò tiẹ̀ pò pé torí Nnamdi Azikiwe ò fi ọwọ́ sí. Ṣùgbọ́n
ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ yín lọ, ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ yín lọ.
Nnamdi Azikiwe ò fi ọwọ́ sí, kò fi taratara sí. Ṣùgbọ́n bàbá náà wà ébù láti convince Sàúdánà Sókótó pé àǹfààní wà nù ká ní regional government. Wọ́n dẹ̀ kóra wọn wá sí parliament bíi. Ṣùgbọ́n ó ti difficult ìgbà tó ti unite wà. Òun ní pé a ti practice parliamentary system which is gbogbo àwọn senators tí wọ́n máa pass bill. Kò kí ń ṣe nǹkan tó rọrùn láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n agree láti pass bill tí a fi máa ní self-governance. That I know. And that is option 1. Jerry option 2. Revolution. Ogun ni.
Mo fẹ́ ká gbọ́ ìbíbà díẹ̀ a little bit and then we'll come out of this. Mo kàn fẹ́ this is the views of some of the Yoruba people lórí ọ̀rọ̀ self-determination tá à ń jà fún tá à ń béèrè fún which is a right. But ṣé right yẹn ṣé n tó máa fún yàn ní easily ni àbí báwo ṣé yàn máa gbà pẹ̀lú diplomatic ni ṣé yàn máa gbà pẹ̀lú dialogue ni ọ̀ bóun náà ṣe sọ ní bíbá pé it could be revolution. Ẹja gbọ́n tó sọ, jacolation lẹ́gbọ́n mi mo rí.
Ṣùgbọ́n láàrin èmi àti ṣàfẹ́ jagun.
Ó ń béèrè pé láàrin gbogbo wa tá à ń béèrè fún right fún self-determination pé ṣàfẹ́ jagun. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń pe ogun, àmọ́ ṣé ogun fúnra rẹ̀ ò tí wọlé, and I have a video that can use to back that because tá bá wo tí bàbá wa Professor Wọlé Ṣóyínká sọ nínú àwọn videos wa kan tá máa ń lò kí n kàn fi buttress tí ó ń béèrè pé ṣàfẹ́ jagun ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n kan tí bàbá wa Professor Wọlé Ṣóyínká sọ níbí báyìí. Oh, sorry. Where is it? Once again, a very good afternoon and good morning to those of you that have joined us from around the world. Wọlé Ṣóyínká and below the video. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ mú dání sọ́wọ́. Question ni pé ṣé a fẹ́ ja ogun? Mo fẹ́ ká mú ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ dání sọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa. Lẹ́ǹkan sí ó dà o. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa. Tí yàn bá wá ń wá nǹkan báyìí nínú bíbà yìí, mo máa ń ranjú yàn ní rí. Olúwa wà báyìí kẹrin àpẹẹrẹ kó lọ jìnnà tó ìnà. Ó ń béèrè pé ṣàfẹ́ jagun. Òun lélẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́n tí bàbá yìí sọ.
What do they expect of us now that this war is on our doorstep?
Bàbá ní this war is on our doorstep. But ọ̀rẹ́ mi àtàtà òun ní ṣé a fẹ́ ja ogun?
Sokoto pé àǹfààní wà lù ká ní regional government.
Okay.
Wọ́n dẹ̀ kóra wa wá sí parliament bí. Ṣùgbọ́n ó ti difficult ìgbà tó ti unite wa. Òun ní pé a ti practice parliamentary system.
Ṣé tá bá wá ń practice parliamentary system yẹn, does it mean pé a lè stop parliamentary system yẹn láti fi dá dúró nítorí pé a sì fẹ́ jẹ́ káwọn olóṣèlú wa kọ́ sì máa lò wá, kọ́ máa lò wá sọ́gọ, kọ́ ní kẹ́ wá dìbò, kọ́ ní kẹ́ wá ẹ̀ka àárọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Tony Ages, kọ́ ní ká wá lọ gba PVC, kọ́ ní ká wá ṣe kí ni ká continue because agenda tí gbogbo wọn push pé kí wọ́n jẹ́ kí Tinubu lọ ná, but tí Tinubu bá ṣe 8 years kí ló máa mú padà? Even though òun náà agree pé Tinubu ò lè ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ tán. Ẹja gbọ́ díẹ̀ sí.
Gbogbo àwọn senators tí wọ́n máa pass bill kò kì í ṣe nǹkan tó rọrùn.
Kò sí kódà ìgbà tó fẹ́ fún wa lómìnira gan-an kò rọrùn. So nothing is going to come easy. So this argument pé kò sí nǹkan kan tó rọrùn, àwọn bàbá ó lọ́wọ́ tó jà fún independent gan. It is after 46 years a ti sọ̀rọ̀ nígbà tá a lọ sí Lancaster House ní about a week of last week mo wà níta, well not this time anyway but at least last week ni mo lọ sí Lancaster House, so it's all just less than a week ago ni mo lọ síbi tí àwọn bàbá gbogbo ilẹ̀ rí fídíò yẹn. So the argument tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó wà nílé, they want Yoruba nation, wọ́n mọ̀ pé tó dání, but wọ́n sì fẹ́ jẹ́ ká continue this system of government tó ń ràn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́, this expensive gigantic government of not the people anymore, government of the people and for the people, but it is no longer for the people anymore. It is now for the cabals, which Aisha Buhari and his brother that is controlling the mint, àwọn yẹn wà ní federal, àwa náà àwọn cabal tó wà ní state, tó yẹ pé kò sí autonomy ní state kankan, gbogbo local government tó wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kò ṣiṣẹ́, gbogbo local government tó ń bẹ ní around the whole of gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́nìí, even the Lagos state, nothing function. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ díẹ̀ sí.
Láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n agree láti pass bill.
Kò sí bó ṣe fẹ́ agree because ibẹ̀ ni gbogbo wọn ti ń jẹun. These are criminals from the House of Rep to the Senator. Mo sọ fún yín pé Yayi olè ni. They are all criminals. Sanwó-Olú olè ní gbogbo wọn. Òun náà sọ pé yes, Yorùbá nation dá lóòótọ́, àmọ́ a gbọ́dọ̀ lọ jẹ́ kí àwọn senator wa, àwọn House of Rep, níjọ́ wo la fẹ́ jókòó tí àwọn yẹn bá máa fún wa ní approval. Tẹ́ bá rántí nígbà tá à ń ṣe NINAS, bí ẹ ti gbàgbé, the 90-day NINAS, force majeure. Ẹ rántí pé the force majeure tí a ṣe nígbà yẹn, tí a fi fún government ní 90 days. How many people remember that? The force majeure. Ta ló rántí ìgbà yẹn? Ti Nina's force majeure. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ mú jáde. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ etí Tony Nnamdi sọ níbí báyìí.
Others are saying, oh, if election doesn't happen, will Buhari then remain in office? Yet others are asking whether it is, if the federal government doesn't do what we ask them to do, then we're stuck. Are we stuck? Those three recurring questions is what we want to answer right now. Because the answers to those questions are already contained in the text of the constitutional force majeure. So
YouTube. I say good morning and welcome to the program.
What are we going to do? Anybody who wants to know what we're going to do should go back to the body of that proclamation. Go to the operative part. There are three parts. The lamentations of how we got to where we are.
Eléyìí fún ìbéèrè tí ọ̀rẹ́ mi àtàtà Balógun Èkó Masalo tóun sọ níbí báyìí òun ni mò ń respond lé lórí because òun sọ pé àwọn tó jẹ́ House of Rep wa àbí báwo ló ṣe sọ́nà ló bọ̀ ẹgbọ́n nǹkan tó sọ.
Pé àǹfààní wà lù ta ní regional government. Wọ́n dẹ̀ kóra wa sí parliament bí. Ṣùgbọ́n ó ti difficult ìgbà tó ti unite wa. Òun ni pé a ti practice parliamentary system.
Which is a fraud.
Which is gbogbo àwọn senators tí wọ́n máa pass bill. Kò kí ń ṣe nǹkan tó rọrùn.
Irọ́ ló pa because ó rọrùn ẹja gbọ́n tí Tony sọ ní bíbá.
National grievances are rising and then the operative part of what we must do now. Is that operative part that begins from the word accordingly, where you have those 5 points of proposition. Everything we say we're going to do are contained there, including if the government refuses or refused to come along. And so we'll come back to the first concern, the first recurring question of is it a vacuum that we are marching to or anarchy? Nina's answer is an absolute no. And when we go to the 5 points proposition in that force majeure proclamation, we will see exactly what was proposed in terms of the modalities.
Which is a formal announcement by the federal government of Nigeria acknowledging the constitutional grievances. Constitution of 1999 náà lọ fẹ́ lò láti lọ ṣe election tí àwọn promote. The same constitution tí gbogbo wa ń sọ pé kò ṣiṣẹ́ fún Yorùbá, kò ṣiṣẹ́ fún Igbo, kò ṣiṣẹ́ fún Hausa, kò ṣiṣẹ́ fún gbogbo ethnic group tó ń bẹ nínú Nigeria. But this time around, it is the same constitution. A formal announcement kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ wáyé by the government of Nigeria láti kọ́kọ́ acknowledge the constitutional grievances and the sovereign dispute now declared by the people of the South and the Middle Belt. So if anybody is saying that, I like Yoruba nation, àmọ́ these are part of the system of individuals, probably for their own selfish gain, but they are not looking at the bigger factor. And let me now back it quickly with the 1999 Constitution. The 1999 Constitution by Senator Adeyeye. Once again, a very good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the live transmission. Senator Adeyeye about this Constitution.
Credo of our republic. It says unity and faith, peace and progress. The truth is, whatever a man sows, the same he will reap. And that goes for a family, That goes for a tribe. That goes for a nation. And that goes for a multinational republic such as Nigeria. When a nation or republic cannot keep faith with justice and with the truth, it will never achieve unity. It will never achieve peace.
Ṣé ń gbọ́? So níbo ni àwọn ti fẹ́ wá rí ibi tí àwọn senator wa, àwọn olè senator wa, ṣé senator Ìbíkúnlé Amósùn tó ṣe governor for 8 bloody years tí kò ní any impact nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó tún wá padà lọ jẹ senator, ṣóun ló máa lọ gbé bíìlì jáde pé kọjọ́ kọ́ accept proposal pé àwa Yorùbá fẹ́ pín kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà? That's question number 1. Àbí èyí tó ń bẹ ní Lagos State tí wọ́n fi ń rán ní kàbá àwọn láti fi sponsor Tinubu, or tí Tinubu bá wá ṣe tán àtúmọ̀ á lọ máa prepare another person tó máa bá Haúsá jà? Ṣé tí Tinubu bá ṣe tán ṣé àtúmọ̀ wá Yorùbá míì ni àbí báwo? Àbí ṣé tí Tinubu bá débẹ̀ ṣó máa lè ṣe ibi tí ó máa gbé Yorùbá dé ibi halfway? Ṣé Tinubu lè gbé Yorùbá dé halfway? And that is why tá bá padà sí bíbá, ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí state and borders. There's always been problem around the world. Àwọn tó lọ káàkiri, àwọn the colonial masters, àwọn the colonial rulers, àwọn the empire, àwọn ló disturb gbogbo border, oríṣiríṣi border, àwọn ló change border mọ́ oríṣiríṣi èèyàn lọ́wọ́. And if we are talking about our border today, the reason why we are having problem in Nigeria today is because the border tó jẹ́ tiwa, wọ́n ti change ẹ̀, ó ti kúrò lọ́wọ́ tiwa, ó ti wà lọ́wọ́ in tó pè ní Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that is why we are struggling in Nigeria today. And the more we remain in Nigeria, whether for another 4 years, another 8 years, another 16 years, a sì máa ní problem nínú border yẹn. And tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ lọ gbọ́ the latest video tí Baba Akintoye ṣe recently, which is about some 2 days ago, he said it in that video that ẹ ṣe lè ti border ti ibì kan, ẹ ṣí ti ibì kan, níbo ló ti ń ṣe yẹn? How can you allow one border to run and you close another border and you want peace of mind? You want a society that is going to work. That society is not going to work. Mo fẹ́ lọ mú fídíò tí wọ́n wá. I guess bó mo ti wò yẹn lánàá náà. I watch a lot of things, so ẹ má bínú mi ní láti sáré wà ní. I know I saw it. Yeah, òun lélẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí bàbá sọ bí báyìí.
I wish I could say that I'm happy to greet you, but the truth is that our people are suffering permanently back home in Nigeria. And
do you know why our people are suffering? Ǹjẹ́ mọ̀ ìdí ṣé ó jẹ́ kí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa suffer? But we will suffer even if we have Tinubu there for the next 8 years. A tún máa suffer tá bá tún ní another Yoruba person there for another 8 years or the 16 years. Tá bá tún gbé another Yoruba person sí, a tún máa suffer for another 24 years. Tá bá run ní Yoruba president for more than 8 times 4, a sì máa suffer. Because the way Nigeria has been set up today, there is no way you can have peace of mind. There is no way if we continue with this fraudulent document, don't put the 1999 constitution, and nobody is talking about the constitution. Because òun sọ̀rọ̀ nísìnyí, òun sọ dáadáa, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, a nífẹ̀ẹ́ Yorùbá lóòótọ́, but àwọn politicians yóò lè ṣe nǹkan kan, they are criminals. Because number one, constitution ti báàkì àwọn olè politician yẹn, and that is why there are so many crimes in the country. Tẹ́ bá gbọ́ nǹkan tí bàbá professor sọ ní bíbá, ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́n tó sọ.
What do they expect of us now?
Kí lẹ fẹ́ ká ṣe nísìn? What do you expect of us now? Ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́n.
Now that this war is on our doorstep.
So èyí tó ń ṣe ń sọ pé ṣàfẹ́ jagun ni, ẹ jẹ́ ká padà síbẹ̀. I'm just mixing the videos so that kí làákàyè yìí tẹ́ wà nílé lè ṣí pé bẹ́ẹ̀ bá lọ dìbò náà kò lè fún yín ní result tẹ́ ń fẹ́. bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dìbò mí pé Tinubu máa transform Lagos State lótìtọ́ wàá pọ́ǹpù owó síbẹ̀, but it's not going to make any impact to the daily lives of more than 20 million Yoruba 20 million people, including àwọn tó ń ṣọmọ Yorùbá tó ń gbé ní Lagos State. It's not going to give you the pipe-borne water. Wọ́n ò ní lè kọ́ ilé àwọn ilé gidi tí mẹ̀kúnnù máa gbé ní Baba Jákàndé, because Tinubu should have done that when he was the governor for 8 years. Ambode lọ síbẹ̀, òun náà máa kọ́lé. Wọ́n ṣe pé wọ́n kọ́ àwọn ilé yẹn because èmi ní interest nígbà kan mo fẹ́ rà kan náà àwọn ilé yẹn, wọ́n tún gbàdá ṣe fraud fún mi ni. Lára àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ nínú government náà ló ṣe fraud. And this is why we are saying that we cannot continue in living in denial, in pretending as if the country is going to work. Ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n tó sọ.
Láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n agree láti pass bill.
Àwọn wo lọ́jọ́ máa agree láti pass bill? Wọ́n ò lè pass bill because reason tó ṣe lè pass bill ni pé Tony ti sọ ní bíbá nínú force majeure. The first thing is for the government to know that that constitution, this constitution tí bàbá yìí fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí nísìn, because we are looking at the modality. Wọ́n ní a formal announcement. Ṣé tí Tinubu bá débẹ̀ ṣó máa announce pé kọ́kọ́ stop constitution yẹn? Tó bá ti stop constitution yẹn, that means automatically the country is going to divide. But ṣé Tinubu ní balls tó ní God pẹ̀lú Fúlàní terrorists pẹ̀lú àwọn kàbá tó wà nínú system tó ń push agenda pé kí Tinubu wá síbẹ̀? Ẹ lọ gbọ́n tí kìíní sọ, governor of Kaduna State, ó ní kó ṣì máa ná náírà nìṣó, ìyẹn old one yẹn, ó ní because tí Tinubu bá débẹ̀ ó máa reverse it. These are the kind of people that are bringing a situation and putting it in the minds of people that Nigeria will be great because everybody can. If it's something you hate Tinubu, I keep saying that, but does not mean that Tinubu has the power to change Nigeria to come back to Yoruba land or go back into the regional government or even as far as even the 1963 constitutional amendments or 67. So let's go back and listen to this man now.
And it will never achieve progress.
Kí ló dé tó ṣe ní progress?
Mr. President, sir.
À ń gbọ́ ẹ sà.
One of us quoted from this constitution.
Kí ló wà nú ẹ̀?
And went ahead to make prescription.
Kí ni prescription náà?
For how to move forward.
The only way to move forward is to destroy that constitution. Are they willing to do so? That is the same constitution tí Peter Obi fẹ́ lò. That is the same constitution Tatiku náà máa lò. This is the same constitution that all our representatives in the House of Rep, all those criminals, women and men, all those old men, ẹlòmíì ò ṣe kankan, ní tó kàn ṣe ni pé kó lọ síbẹ̀, kó sùn, kó jí, kó kíláà rí pé ó attend, and kó dẹ̀ di weekend, kó kó ságbádá, kó lọ sí party, kó dẹ̀ lọ sí Europe.
I dare to tell this nation today
Pé kí ni?
That this is the problem.
So if this is the problem, the question that I'm asking my friend here is, how are they going to solve this problem? Ẹ dàgbọ́n tó sọ níbà.
See, Akmadi self-governance. That I know. And that is option one. Jerry, option two. Revolution.
Okay, revolution ni yẹ.
Ogun ni.
Onogun ni.
Ṣùgbọ́n láàrin èmi àti ṣàfẹ́ jagun.
So ṣé ogun ò ti wọlé? Ẹ dàgbọ́n tí bàbá Professor Wọlé Ṣóyínká sọ ní bíbá ẹ tẹ́tí kẹgbọ́n tí bàbá ẹ sọ.
So what do they expect of us now that this war is on our doorstep? Of course, there has got to be civil mobilization. And if we keep waiting for this to be centrally handled, we're all going to become, if we're not already slaves in our land.
So ṣé bàbá Wọlé Ṣóyínká ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n ṣé ó stupid ni for him to say that? What do you expect us to do? If we wait for the central that does not have the capacity, because the constitution is not giving us the opportunity for the central to deal with the terrorism that is happening in our own territory. And the reason why is because all the borders were all destroyed. Our borders was destroyed by the Colonial during those era. Let's watch this.
Territorial delimitation and borders
have been recurrent in interstate relations throughout history.
Chembo, it has been like that throughout history. When the British came to the territory known as Yoruba Kingdom, they destroyed the borderline. They destroyed it and then eventually gave us a different identity that we are struggling with to curtail today after so many years.
Wars have been fought over territory.
Ṣẹ̀gbọ́n, ogun tí ń jà lórí territory. You hear what this guy said? War has been fought on the territory because ẹni tó ní territory yẹn fẹ́ gba territory padà. Ẹni tó ní ilẹ̀ yẹn náà fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ wọn padà. And there's no way you can get it through the legal means. Because tẹ́bẹ́ ní ẹ fẹ́ gbà through the legal means, it's going to be forever. Ẹ kàn máa lọ sí International Criminal Court and nothing is going to happen anytime soon. International Criminal Court are very good. Let's go and look at it. ICJ, International Criminal Court. There's a lot of court. Kéèsì pọ̀ níbẹ̀ yamputu láti 1947 lọ ti set it up. You can take Nigerian government to International Criminal Court. Nothing is going to happen for the next 100 years. Ẹ máa lọ síbẹ̀, ogun á máa ṣẹlẹ̀, àwọn á máa jà yín lógun, wọ́n á máa fi Fúlàní jà yín lógun, ẹ̀yà á máa sọ pé ẹ̀ lọ sí International Criminal Court pé ẹ fẹ́ lọ gba judgement lórí ilẹ̀ yín. Níbo ló ti ń ṣe yẹn? How do you expect to get your territory, your border, your land, your sovereignty, your self-determination by just speaking English? You must be crazy. Níbo ló ti ń ṣe yẹn? So for him to be saying that pé ṣàfẹ́ jagun ni, ogun ti wà nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá already, ogun ti wà nínú Nàìjíríà already. So àwa kọ́ la fẹ́ jagun, wọ́n ti gbógun wá bá wa. The question is, how do we defend ourselves? Like and if you are waiting for the military, you will all die.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral.
Okay.
They collude.
What you collude?
They collude.
You will all die.
They collude with the armed bandits.
Àti mọ̀ yẹn tipẹ́tipẹ́.
Ìgbà tó ti unite wà.
Okay.
Ó ní pé as a practice parliamentary system.
And then so what?
Which is gbogbo àwọn.
Ṣé parliamentary system yẹn wá favour àwa? Ṣó favour àwa àbí ó favour àwọn cronies, àwọn olè, àwọn tó ń gbé owó Nàìjíríà, tó ń gbé káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé, tó ní proxies, tó ń sanwó fún wọn, tó ń promote wọn.
Pass bill. Kò kì í ṣe nǹkan tó rọrùn.
Kò sí nǹkan tó rọrùn tẹ́lẹ̀, àtayébáyé nìyẹn.
Láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n agree.
Wọ́n ò lè agree because they are criminals. Ṣèyí Mákindé ò lè agree. Fáṣọlá ò lè agree. They are all criminals working on the government using the current system that is not working, using the modality to ẹ̀kọ́ ti destroy. Ẹ̀dá ẹ̀gbọ́n tí Tony Namdi sọ níbí báyìí.
That will include composition, time frame, mandate, and all of that. And so there is no anarchy, there is no vacuum. We're saying let us go to transition instead of election. And it is in that period of transition.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tí Tony sọ níbí báyìí, ó ní a formal announcement by the federal government of Nigeria suspending the further general election under the dispute 1999 constitution since winners of such elections will be sworn to and be governed by that constitution that this man is talking about. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ gbọ́, bàbá kílẹ̀ ń sọ sẹ́gbọ́n sókè.
And went ahead to make prescription.
Kí ni prescription náà? Ṣé Panadol ni àbí ibuprofen àbí injection àbí COVID tí wọ́n wá sọ fún wa nísìnyí pé kò sí nǹkan kan tó rọ̀ǹgì mọ́ o. COVID yẹn gbogbo àwọn tá a gbà báyìí o, àfi kọ́ lóun kó ṣàánú wa.
For how to move forward.
How are we going to move forward? Yeah?
I dare to tell this nation.
He's telling everybody that this nation called the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That this is the problem.
What is the problem?
This constitution can never give us progress.
So if it's not going to give us progress, why is this guy, my friend, saying that we should go and sit down and let our senator, our House of Rep, Bola Tinubu and Shettima and all our Yoruba governors to decide at the appropriate time? Why is he now saying such?
Láti pass bill tí a máa ní self-governance.
How are we going to get self-governance waiting for a bill? Bill wo ló fẹ́ pass? Níbo ló ti fẹ́ pass bill yẹn? Ta ló máa fún wọn ní authority tó fi máa pass bill yẹn?
That I know. And that is option 1. Jerry option 2, revolution. Ogun ni. Ṣùgbọ́n láàrin èmi àti yín, ṣàfẹ́ jagun.
Okay.
Bàbá fẹ́ jagun wo lọ ṣáà ní nǹkan ogun.
Thank you. And Jerry factor méjì lèyàn bá consider tí ọba fẹ́ jagun.
Gbogbo yẹn story ni. He now went ahead and also say, èèyàn kan béèrè pé ìlú tóun náà wà yìí wọ́n jagun ni. Àwọn náà wọ́n mọ̀.
Ìfẹ́ fi ń pọ̀ wá ní tòró interfere. Bàbá yín sọ̀rọ̀ torí.
Àtọ́jagun yẹn tọ́wọ́ jókòó.
Mo fẹ́ ibi tó ti sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni òun wá. À ń bọ̀ ọmọ àlọ́ bẹ̀ ọmọ sọ ọmọ ok.
Ó ti yẹ ẹ ṣe gan. Èmi bàbá yín sọ̀rọ̀ torí wọn ò gbọ́ yín dáadáa èmi àwọn bá yín repeat question yẹn. Wọ́n sọ wípé sàwọ́n ní àwọn tí wọ́n ti máa ń gbọ́ yín dáadáa wípé ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ sọ nípa Èkó àti bí Tinubu ṣe ba Èkó jẹ́ tó wọ́n tó bá kó sínú tírélà wọ́n ní àkùdẹ́mdẹ́m báyìí ni ká tún máa ṣẹ́ dànù. Wọ́n ní ọ̀nà owó lẹ́tọ́ wá gbà báyìí ní ìsìn tó wá jẹ́ wípé bàbá Tinubu yìí gan lẹ́yìn wá sọ wípé ọmọ ẹni òun ṣèdí bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ káfílẹ̀ sí di ọmọ ìlú yìí. Wọ́n ní báwo lẹ ṣe òun tó fi débẹ̀ fún ọgbọ́n ti sọ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ bọ̀ ẹtúbà wa tún lọ bẹ̀ sí ẹ ṣé bàbá mi wá da yín lòun ní sẹ́ máa lọ gbọ́.
So to question brother mi yẹn àdúrà àti sùúrù òun ni wọ́n fi ṣèlú yìí ó ti àdúrà.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n nǹkan tó sọ ní bíbá mo fẹ́ ká tẹ́tí dáadáa ká farabalẹ̀ gbọ́ bíbá ìlú tèmi wà yìí àti tóun náà wà bí wọ́n ṣe pinlẹ̀ ìlú yìí tí àwa fi ní opportunity tí à ń bára wa jà ọ̀rẹ́ mi ṣì ni gbà tí mo wò lánàá mo ní ok àwọn pọ́ìntì kan wà níbẹ̀ but maybe bí ẹ kò yé òun náà ni bóyá kéèmí náà wá fi jẹ́ kó yé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá pé àwọn pọ́ìntì kan wà níbẹ̀ o irọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀ òfegè ni nítorí pé in tó bá mú ìlú yìí lọ́rọ̀ tó fẹ́ sọ nísìnyí tó bá go through the same situation kò sí any reason táwa náà lè ṣe the same thing láti fi gbára wa sílẹ̀ ẹja kájọ gbóhùn tó fẹ́ sọ yìí.
àti sùúrù kọ nǹkan ẹyọ kan ni wọ́n fi ṣe ìlú yìí ogun ni.
ẹgbẹ́ nǹkan tó sọ nǹkan ẹyọ kan tó fi ṣe ìlú yìí ni kí ni.
ìsìn tó wá jẹ́ wípé bàbá Tinubu yìí gan lẹ́yìn wá sọ wípé ọmọ ẹni òun ṣèdí bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ káfílẹ̀ sí di ọmọ ìlú yìí. Wọ́n ní báwo lẹ ṣe òun tó fi débẹ̀ fún ọgbọ́n ti sọ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ bọ̀ ẹtúbà wa tún lọ bẹ̀ sí ẹ ṣé bàbá mi wá da yín lòun ní sẹ́ máa lọ gbọ́.
So to question brother mi yẹn àdúrà àti sùúrù òun ni wọ́n fi ṣèlú yìí ó ti àdúrà àti sùúrù kọ nǹkan ẹyọ kan ni wọ́n fi ṣe ìlú yìí ogun ni ìgbà tó jagun yẹn tọ́wọ́ jókòó jẹ́rí màá fún yín lẹ́sàkù kan jẹ́rí gbogbo ibi tí ẹ bá gbọ́ tí wọ́n kọ well sí ní ìlú yìí tí
Stockwell, Camberwell, Stockwell.
Lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kan tó jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, kọ̀ǹga ló jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Kọ̀ǹga ló wà ní gbogbo àwọn ibẹ̀ yẹn. Gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti rí tí well.
Sorry about that, Chibuzo. This conversation is very deep and it needs to go straight to our people. That's why we're speaking our language. I'm very sorry. I know a lot of you that are Biafra probably got lost, but I need to. This conversation is really directing to our Yoruba audience.
Well, tó wà, omi kọ̀ǹga ló ní ibẹ̀. Ṣó ti yé yín? Ẹ wá rí púpọ̀ náà èèyàn tó wà láyé sí Queen Victoria àti Elizabeth ní púpọ̀ bá.
Wọ́n bá King George.
Tí àwọn ọkùnrin tí wọ́n lead ní ìlú yìí láti Roman wọ́n jagun fi gba gbogbo ilẹ̀ ìlú yìí ni. Jẹ́rí gbogbo ilẹ̀ ìlú yìí tó gbà yẹn àwọn tẹ bá gbọ́ tó pè ní Duke baálẹ̀ ni wọ́n. So bí wọ́n ti gba ilẹ̀ wọ́n wá fi èèyàn síbẹ̀ kó jẹ́ baálẹ̀ ní ibẹ̀.
Irú ìsí ọ̀rọ̀ Fúlàní.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tí Alájà ṣe sọ ní ìbáyọ.
Iṣẹ́ nìyẹn o bàbá wa.
Ó ní ẹ máa gbọ́ mà. So ẹni sùúrù.
Irú ìdájọ́ nìyẹn o.
Ẹ máa gbọ́ pé wọ́n ti wá ṣe ìlú yìí. Ṣé wàá rí ibì kan wà ní inú Central London?
Wọ́n pè ní City of London.
City.
Màá gbé lọ síbẹ̀ láìpẹ́ City of London. Ibẹ̀ ló ibẹ̀ lé owó nìyẹn.
There is City of London yẹn. Ibẹ̀ ni gbogbo nǹkan
ọrọ̀ ajé London wà ibẹ̀ lọ́rọ̀ ajé wọn wà gbogbo ẹ̀ òun lélẹ̀ City of London ẹgbọ́n ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ tí bá ń sọ fún ẹgbẹ́ the same thing lájọ́ ń sọ tí bá sọ fún yín pé UK ló ń control Nàìjíríà ló ń control àgbáyé ẹ máa sọ fún mi pé kí n dákẹ́ mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ back ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn pẹ̀lú another video kan tí my brother Shalom tó fi ránṣẹ́ sí mi láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ ẹgbọ́n kan tí ẹ̀yin tẹ́lẹ̀ tẹ́ wà lé you don't know what is about to happen there is a new world order tó ń bọ̀ video yẹn dà where is it now ó ní kí n lọ wò láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ and I was watching it mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí there was a particular video that I was referred to go and watch yeah ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré wo video bọ̀bọ̀ yìí.
So there's this bike shop /cafe/.
ìjà your sound yẹ kúrò náà for now ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ fídíò yìí mo ń bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Video clip. It's only 58 seconds. I'm going to share my observations and a couple of bullet points.
This guy is a UK based, but he's currently in Ibadan. He's currently in Nigeria right now. He speaks a lot. He's a blogger as well, or he's talking about the cashless Nigeria and the true agenda. There is a new world order. Àwa Yorùbá dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ jáde láti lè wà nínú àwọn tó máa make a decision lágbàáyé àfẹ́ wà lábẹ́ anybody mọ́ tó máa make a decision lé wa lórí. So gbogbo yìí tí a ti mọ̀ nísìnyí pé UK ló ti make control. UK jagun ni so kí ló wọ́n sọ pé ṣáwa ready láti jagun ni ogun ti wọlé already o ẹ jagun tí bàbá yìí sọ.
Nigeria is going to start limiting cash withdrawals from bank machines to $225 or around 100,000 Nigerian naira per week with a daily limit of $45. The official reason is to discourage ransom payments for kidnappings and to fight counterfeiting. But what is it really about? Well, Nigeria launched their central bank digital currency late last year. This, as is always the case, is about control. This is about pushing a cashless society where government...
Control. The same control táwa náà wà níbí báyìí ó ń bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ yín nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tí a bá ṣọ́ra ó kù díẹ̀.
Have complete control over you, and every single transaction is tracked. CBDCs are here, and slowly but surely governments will start to restrict your access to cash until it is gone, and with it your financial freedom. Opt out, buy Bitcoin.
You heard him very well. Analysis in there.
And this is just personal observation before I even go into what's going on. Because I spend more time in Africa.
What video? Chidoke.
Every day. This is not like coming to Africa.
This is Franklin. Yeah.
Disappear. Sometimes I come.
Correct guy. I like him.
Last year, at some point, I spent like 3 months. It made me realize millions of our people on ground have zero knowledge about how the world truly works. In terms of the societal pyramid, how the actions of Europeans, the people in the West, people in the shadows, the decisions that are filtered down and then come to the ground level within the Nigerian society. Trust me, I've met so many people, even you say within the financial sector. There are people, very few, who would have conversations with you, they could connect, they understand what's going on, the agenda, the new world order and things. But do you know what's funny? This is the reason I'm saying this is it's given me a major and shocking insight into the mindset of the average African person. Because I've said it in so many of my videos. If you don't have a clue, for starters, about how the world truly works, look, man, you're doomed. You are marked for failure.
Did you hear that? So, if our own brother and my very close friend, let's hear again what he's saying.
United Kingdom.
He's talking about the Irish. The Irish dealt so much with the British. They are known as the IRA. The Richard Olotofes Onisin, They were even called terrorists at some point. One point only terrorists. But now they've changed that because they have now have their own country. So again, if anybody says that we should be talking about, the legal means of getting ourselves out of Nigeria. Oh yes, there's good way. We have been doing that. We need to also have, a legal platform. Láti fi push agenda wa pa fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nigeria. But if we rely alone on the legal means, that means that we will continue to hold election every 4 years. It does not matter how they rotate it and how they manipulate it, because the Southeast is saying that àwa no come. We are meant to be the one, but the article say no. We are not going to let you come now. Ẹ jẹ́ kí èmi tún lọ ná, because àwa Fúlàní sì fẹ́ ṣe díẹ̀ sí. And you will always have people like Wike that they say, but it's meant to be the Southeast. I've never left PDP. And all they are doing is they are just playing games and minds of the Nigerian people and the Yoruba people. So somebody like my friend here that is well outspoken, a lot of people love him for the job he's doing. And let's get it far. He has never supported Yoruba Nation, but it does not mean that he condemns Yoruba Nation. Because ìjà tó ń jà, ó ti sọ fún mi nígbà tá a pàdé so many times. I mean, probably a few times ago we met. Pé èyí tèmi ṣe yẹn wọn ò lè ṣe o Lagos. Ó dẹ̀ sọ níbẹ̀ pé tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹlòmíràn ti tuntun mú state mi, maybe there will have been changes in our state. Òun bóun ṣe ń dì pẹ̀lú Èkó, tó bá jẹ́ pé Ogun state nìkan lèmi náà ń dì pẹ̀lú ni. Bóyá Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún gan máa sáré because máa make sure pé mo fẹ́ rú ẹ̀mí ẹ̀. But I think if you look at like what Mayegun does, Mayegun talks more as well of Nigeria broadly, but it focus streamline a little bit in Ogun state. Tó bá jẹ́ pàtó lẹ́nu omi tó ń ṣe Ondo state, but in the whole context of what we are discussing today, I know a lot of people want to push the agenda for 2023 on top of Yoruba people, and the Yoruba people that are gullible, I'm sorry to use that word, wọ́n wà gullible làwọn kan sọ pé àti gba country lórí social media. If we have got a country, ṣé bá ṣe tún máa operate? I mean, and when you go and even listen to some of the nonsense they are talking, you'll be asking yourself, how did we even get to this stage that our abroad and believe that nonsensical we are to the country? Tẹ́gbẹ́ country, ó yẹ ká lè máa sọ pé a máa pàṣẹ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. In tó ń pè ní country nìyẹn, kò ń ṣe pé ẹgbẹ́ country, ẹ tún wá create awareness, gbé agenda kankan wá, ẹ kàn kẹ àtàwọn àtàmọ̀, ta ló sanwó fún níbí báyìí, ta ló jalè níbẹ̀ yẹn, bàbá àgbà yahoo, olè yahoo, ọmọdé yahoo, yahoo mélòó ló fẹ́. Those are the conversations they are discussing. They are not bringing the real content of a country. Tẹ́ ẹ bá tẹ̀ fẹ́ lo the 40 media, tẹ́ fi promote ara yín débì kan. Country, you should be discussing, so things that are value as a country, not nonsense. That shows that and we have Yoruba people that have also bought into that nonsense. Oh, ṣé torí pé ara ń kan yín pé fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà àbẹ́ fẹ́ kúrò ní abroad tẹ́wà, does that mean we should be thinking as a stupid people? And this is what we are saying to people. Barawaja, but nígbà tí a ti mọ̀ pé Balógun Èkó owó agree pẹ̀lú Yorùbá Nation, Lagos no face. But what we are saying now is, if taba sọ pé àti gba country, ṣé bá ṣe máa operate the country náà lọ operate lórí social media yìí? Ṣé bó ṣe operate the country nìyẹn ni? By now, ó yẹ ká ti ní cabinet. Ó yẹ ká ti ní cabinet tó máa make a decision. But it seems that those ones are just, I don't even know what to talk about. I don't even know. Because sometimes, I mean, màá kàn máa gbọ́ voice ẹlòmíì lára àwọn tá a ti jọ sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. Màá máa wonder pé okay, tí mo tẹ̀lé pé gbogbo ara nílà káyè. Wọ́n bẹ okay, ẹni Ìgbòho lè lead, fine, àti agree. Kí Ìgbòho máa lead. But ṣé country náà direct gbà yẹn? Ṣé process country náà nìyẹn ṣá? Mad people all over the place. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí bíbá. Ká padà sí borders. Ibi tí wàhálà ti dé gangan, òun ni àwọn òyìnbó tó kó wa lẹ́rú. But ọ̀rẹ́ mi ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn IRA lọ kí tó kúrò lẹ́nu bẹ̀ yẹn. Ẹgbọ́n kan tó sọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, they are very daft and gullible.
Ṣé ẹ gbọ́ mi?
À ń gbọ́ ẹ.
Àwọn ará Island, wọ́n náà fẹ́ kúrò nínú ìlú yìí.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ gbọ́n nǹkan tó sọ níbí báyìí o. Àwọn ará Northern Ireland as of today, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo kí ni population gbogbo Northern Ireland. The whole population of Northern Ireland, lately, according to what we have, Northern Ireland population is 1.8 million as of 2019. Currency tán lò is pound sterling. Official language English. Northern Ireland is still part of the United Kingdom, situated in the northeast of the island that is the various described as a country, province or region. Northern Ireland shares an open border to the south and to the west, and it has always been the border issue. Ọ̀rọ̀ border ló dá wàhálà lẹ̀ ní gbogbo àgbáyé lẹ́nìí. Òun ni bàbá professor ń sọ níbí báyìí under international law. So tabanika lọ sí International Criminal Court. Ká gbé Nàìjíríà lọ síbẹ̀ pé ilẹ̀ wa ta ní a fẹ́ gbà padà. A fẹ́ gbà but a fẹ́ ja ogun nítorí pé a ní means láti ja ogun. We will just tender application. Application ni wọ́n máa tender. Ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ tender application, ó ti di dandan kó issue receipt. So tó bá náà wọ́n lọ sí UN, àwọn gbé kiri lọ sí pé and they are saying that a lè ṣú gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ní receipt o. Again, ẹ sáré fún wọn. Ẹ sá lọ fún wọn. Ẹ sá lọ fún wọn. And let me say something. We talk about data. I was watching a video this morning again. Emma Binu, we're just moving, you know, and I hope you do not get lost. Ẹ farabalẹ̀, ẹni tó bá distract ara ẹ̀, ẹni follow conversation ẹ̀, ẹni tó bá wà láàrin méjì tẹ́ bá wọlé, ẹ máa láti lọ gbọ́ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ because I've been moving around. Ìdí tí mo dẹ̀ ṣe move around ni pé mo fẹ́ ṣí mind yín jáde. Mo lọ ń follow data analytic.
Data analyst.
Ṣé rí 5 billion tó kó lọ yẹn tí wọ́n sọ pé kíní kan kò sí nǹkan tí wọ́n lè fi ṣe. Kí ni mo sọ fún yín? Kò sí anything tí wọ́n lè fi ṣe. Because n tó ń pè ní data nìyẹn. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá mọ tó ń pè ní data, ẹ farabalẹ̀ ká gbọ́ fídíò yìí.
Everyone's talking about it, but what exactly is it? Perhaps you've heard that data analytics is the next big thing for business and want to find more about what the field involves. By the end of this video, you should have a better understanding of what data analytics is, and you'll have a better understanding of what you'll be doing in
that is collation of data. The power of data. Ibi tí wọ́n lè lo data lọ, ibi tó lè fi data. So yẹ pé in another 10 years, tá a bá careful, data yẹn á ṣe máa lọ sí different places. Wọ́n lè ta káàkiri anywhere in the world. Kò síbi tó lè ta sí data là ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀. Wọ́n lè fi ṣe anything ẹ̀dá follow information yìí. The next business tó wà ní gbogbo àgbáyé lẹ́ẹ̀mí nísìn òun ni data.
In this video, we're going to cover 5 key points to give you a better understanding of what it is to be a data analyst and how to start working.
Eléyìí ẹni tó bá fẹ́ kọ́ṣẹ́ data analyst òun lélẹ́yìí but iṣẹ́ wo ló ń ṣe result wo ló gbọ́dọ̀ mú jáde so àwọn tó ní àtiwọ̀ one chance lóòótọ́. Oh, somebody say I am a data analyst myself. Okay, thank you so much. I've been looking into it myself right now.
In this field. As you're watching the video, if you've got any questions about the topics that we cover, just drop them in the comments below. Before we dive in, if you're enjoying the video content, please give us a like and subscribe to get more weekly videos like this. So let's dive into step number 1.
And we do not own the copyright, it's just for educational purpose.
Becoming a data analyst and want to know exactly what a career in the field involves. Most companies are collecting loads of data all the time.
Did you hear that? Most companies collect data just as we are also have input our data into a 5 million petition. And I was doing while I was looking at these, I went back to look at the Ominira website and it seems it's shut down. I'm not sure why, but it's not coming up. That website, see, if it's signed petition here, is completely down. I'm asking question again. Kí ni reason tí website yẹn ṣe wà down? Ẹ mọ̀ pé mi ìbéèrè ni máa ń béèrè as a journalist. Why is that website down? Ṣé wọ́n ti migrate website yẹn lọ sí another website? A fẹ́ mọ̀ because we have people's data that promote the platform yìí. A dẹ̀ fẹ́ mọ̀ bí tí data yẹn tó ń lọ so that káwa náà lè máa follow data yẹn. Ṣé data yẹn ti dé Venezuela ni? Ṣé data àwọn Yorùbá pé Nàìjíríà nìkan lọ́dún lè data? Ó dà pé orí gbogbo wa ti gbálẹ̀. Data can be used anywhere in the world. Data là ń sọ yìí. So, èmi kan tẹ̀ sọ pé because I was interested in data analysis because nígbà tẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ náà sanwó fún KOIKIMEDIA mọ́, mo ṣàgbọ́dọ̀ lọ́wọ́ commit ma láti máa ṣe. So, I was thinking bí a kì í tún lọ train ara mi fún kan mi. Because gbogbo àtàwọn béèrè owó àwọn èèyàn rẹ̀ pé bí a kàn ń tọrọ owó ni. Ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ níwèé nílùú yìí. So, n tó gbé mi sọ̀rọ̀ data ni mo sọ yìí o. Láàárọ̀ inú ọ̀rọ̀ àárọ̀ ni mo sì ń sọ yìí o. So, ọ̀mí kan wà ní pé kí tẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ website it could be their server issue. Okay, all right. Okay, another question jáde wọ́n ní it could be his crash ó dáa gbogbo wa assignment látẹ̀ní títí di Sunday ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lọ check website yẹn tó bá máa fi di Monday ẹ rán mi létí ta ló wà lórí program pẹ̀lú Ọlákúnlé ó gbọ́dọ̀ rán mi létí ní àárọ̀ Monday lágbára Elédùmarè èmi náà máa follow ẹ̀ a fẹ́ mọ̀ ṣé website yẹn crash ni tó bá crash is not a problem but website yìí gbọ́dọ̀ wà on because a sì fẹ́ máa follow trace data yẹn because we are talking about 5 million people data tí ó lè fi ṣe anything kò sí nǹkan tó lè fi ṣe ibi tí ayédélé ní nísìn so maybe you don't know let's watch a little bit more of this.
In its raw form, this data doesn't actually mean anything. This is where data analytics comes in. Data analytics is the...
So what they've done, okay, what's about 5 million? A data analytic would then use it for different things. What they send their loss anywhere, what if you project anything, it can be used as a business. I want to crash in. No, okay, man, believe everybody. Want to crash in it. So let's agree that the Ominira website has crashed. So it will probably come back, probably maximum 72 hours. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ jáde padà. Tó bá jáde ní 72 hours, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ dá wa lóhùn pé kí ló dé tí website yẹn ṣe crash tí kò dé padà. Ṣé wọ́n ti migrate lọ sí another website? We need to know. So the question now is, ṣé data wa safe níbi tó wà? Tó bá dẹ̀ wà safe, a fẹ́ rí prove but wà safe. Because our promoter náà ní bíbá and we have the right to ask questions.
Process of analyzing raw data so that we can pull out insights which are useful to companies. These insights are super important to drive smart business decisions. What a data analyst does is they take all this complex jigsaw of data, they take it out and they make it into something which you can really...
You hear that? They can make use of it for everything. Okay, obìnrin mélòó ló sign ẹ̀, arúgbó mélòó ló sign ẹ̀, ọmọdé mélòó ló sign ẹ̀, ìlú wo ló ti sign ẹ̀. And let me show you something. I have to bring my screen out briefly because I'm going to show you the email me, but I want to bring something out. If you want to Gmail me, go. So let's come back. Oh, no.
Of course, has got to be civil mobilization. And if we keep waiting for this to be centrally handled, we're going to become.
All right, so I received these from Google. Okay, this is how far we have done so far on KOIKIMEDIA, according to the YouTube that we are operating. We had about 928 new subscribers. We have about almost 996.4K total view, 5 million watch so far. But only because mo fẹ́ lò ní bíbá. Kí ni mo fẹ́ lò ní pé you can now explore this information and I can use it for different things. Tó bá yẹ pé mo fẹ́ tà ní, tó bá yẹ pé mo fẹ́ lọ fi ṣe nǹkan kan ní, I can use it and you can see how much even the revenue that we make. Not a lot of money. People think that we make a lot of money here, but kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ owó yẹn. Now, I want to go and look at something, audience. Let's look at our audience. So this is our audience graph, okay? This is my audience graph, as you can see there. And ẹni tó náà jẹ́ data analyst, I can give it to them and say, kí la lè fi kíní ṣe. But one thing I want to tell everybody is, ṣé mo bí tó ti wo program wájú ní gbogbo àgbáyé Nàìjíríà ni. Mo sọ fún yín pé èmi ni máa pa Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú mídíà mi. 47.5 people are watching me from Nigeria. Even America ló tẹ̀lé, èyí tí UK adúpẹ́ fún yín, but even those in UK are not doing enough. 47.5 ṣẹ́ẹ̀rí òun ló wà níbí báyìí. 47.5% of our listeners Nigeria ni wọ́n wà. Ìyàn kan wá sọ pé Koiki wọ́n gbẹ́ wọ́n mọ tó ń lọ, but wọ́n ti wà under the subjugation, the nepotism, the threat of IGBOHO, the threat of BSS, the threat of the military, and somebody is now saying that can you imagine that? And this is why we are saying to those of you at home, the importance of data. 47.5 people are watching me from Nigeria. 17.3 America, 14% láti UK, Canada 2.5, Germany 1.8, and it goes down like that. That's another graph. Go to open for me, and this is between 1st of January títí di 31st. Nínú month tó kọjá lásán yìí. And it has even gone a bit down. So, Koiki wọ̀ kí n gbọ́ yín, wọn mọ tó ń lọ nílé ìrọ̀lẹ́ pa. Àwọn èèyàn wà nílé, wọ́n sì ń gbọ́ wa in the midst of the situation tí wọ́n tọ́ bára wọn. And you can see there, 283,468,000 people are watching me from Nigeria in January alone. Almost 300,000 people. It's not a lot, but there are ways that we can push the message. How do we push the message is how, okay, mi ti ṣe live video kan nísìnyí, we heard about quickly, because people are waiting for a media láti sọ tó ń lọ nílé. And that's why we say, the more tabari support, the more we can expand it. Ó yẹ ká ní images kó máa jáde, kó máa roll àti gbogbo state. But if I don't have the means, there's less I can do. But fún èyí tẹ́ ń support wa, mo lè fún ilé ní. I've never shown this data before. Láti 3 years láti ṣe program. Obi mo ṣọlẹ̀ nǹkan rí, I can't remember. But today I am telling you pé tó bá sọ pé KOIKIMEDIA òrìn irọ́ lẹ́pa, because last month alone we were able to target close to 300,000 people in Nigeria. And you know why? Because of our team wa tó wà nílé. Don't sacrifice ara wọn fún wa. Koiki, this data shows a lot of things. I thought it was many diaspora that watch you. That's the question. KOIKIMEDIA, we love you. But it is people at home that are watching us. Ṣẹgbẹ́ àwọn tó mọ̀ nípa data ló tún sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Chidoke, àwọn yẹn náà pè ní data analyst. Because wọ́n pè Koiki èèyàn 47.5 ló ń wẹ̀ láti Nàìjíríà. Mo sọ fún yín pé ní Sokoto wọ́n ní room bí ṣe ń ṣe program báyìí wọ́n wò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ live don't translate it, and it shows that our message. But báwo ni message ṣe lè rìn díẹ̀ sí òun ni pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá support media, well that is about it. BBC ò lè promote Yorùbá nation because iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n kọ́ nìyẹn. Ó dìgbà tó bá di gbàgbós wọ́n á rán reporter lọ síbẹ̀ láti UK, wọ́n nílò èyí tó ń lo mobile phone because wọ́n need the proper satellite images kó má bọ̀. So when people now sit at home and Koiki, America lẹ́yìn mo dúpẹ́ fẹ́yìntì wà l'America, for 17% of you l'America. This is what they call data. Even though mo tún lè break it down sí cities, ó tún lọ sí all the way to cities. Òun lélẹ̀ àwọn tó mọ̀ pa kiri èmi ò mọ̀ pa ẹ̀. Okay, can I go and do something a little bit láti máa tún fi support ara mi? Wọ́n á rí data analysis. Even it can go back even up to the age àwọn tó ń wò wá. And if you look at it, let's look at it. Àwọn between 33, 35 and 44 ẹ̀yin lẹ wò mí jù. Between 34, 35 and 44. So níbo lọ́kọ́ 5 million lọ́tẹ̀ wọ́n sọ pé ká má sọ̀rọ̀. Nígbà tá a promote láti bíbá wọ́n ní láti jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé ṣé website yẹn crash bó ṣe ń sọ lóòótọ́ ni a fún wọn títí di Monday correspond lórí. And you can see then close the leg má lọ ṣí email mi okay private ní email mi. Àwọn olótó wò wájú àwọn tó wà between 45 and 54, that's 22.3%. Àwọn tó wà between 55 and 64 ẹ̀yin lẹ tún tẹ̀lé lẹ́yìn. Àwọn tó wà ní 65 above àwọn grandma àwọn yẹn wà ní 15.2 kò ṣe pé wọ̀ níṣẹ́. Àwọn youth ò gbọ́n kankan fi 18.24 wọ́n jó gẹ̀lẹ̀dẹ̀ káàkiri wọ́n wá bó ṣe máa scam èèyàn ní UK àwọn 419 criminal yahoo people ẹ fẹ́ máa ṣe crime. À ń sọ fún yín pé tá a bá gba country wa ẹ káàbọ̀ ìyá wa beauty àmọ̀ pé barika de jimu. So tí bá jókòó sí bíbá tí mò ń pariwo mo mọ reason tí mo ṣe ń pariwo. Tí bá sọ pé ẹ support mo mọ reason because mo àwọn ọmọ bíi tatúlẹ̀ extend ojoojúmọ́ làwọn èèyàn bá mi pé Mr. Koiki I feel the part, but how can I bring people to come and be part of KOIKIMEDIA táà ní máa fún wọn lówó. Àwọn bíi 15 tó wà lọ́rùn mi gan nísìn a gbọ́dọ̀ make sure pé every blessed day wọ́n ṣé ẹni tó ṣe streaming láti Ìbàdàn nísìn ṣé tí kò bá ní data tó máa stream fún yín. And this is why we are saying to our people, àwọn 18.24 only 3.1% because our politicians ti parọ́ fún wọn. They told them lies. And also mutulilọ́wọ́ view the gender àtúlilọ́wọ́ gender àwọn ọkùnrin ló ń wò wájú 71.1 àwọn female 28. So this is what they can use 5 million petition for. Wàá break ẹ̀ sí pieces fún yín. Olúkàlùkù àdè máa mú tiẹ̀ ló bẹ̀. Ìyàn kan wá sọ fún wa pé ká ṣọ́tọ̀ ká má béèrè. Ẹ gẹ́ra ọ̀jàre ẹ̀dá close eléyìí. So now ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí conversation tá à ń bá lọ. Nísìnyí tá a ti gbọ́ pé òmìnira Yorùbá yẹn ó crash ni tó bá dijọ́ Monday. So a nídìí lè mọ àti get understanding kọ́ta pé ló ń bẹ̀. Now ẹ ká padà sí ọ̀rọ̀ Balógun Èkó bọ̀ká tó padà ẹ̀dá gbọ́n tí arákùnrin náà sọ.
In interstate relations throughout history, wars have been fought over territories.
Ṣẹ̀gbọ́n ogun ló ti jà lórí territory. Ìyàpá wá ní pé ká má jagun.
Also being developed and often used in matters of border disputes. It is beyond the scope of discourse to review all rules of international law relating to land or to maritime delimitation, but it is important to mention some of them in relation to the emergence of new states.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tó sọ yìí, kí làwọn fẹ́ gbà ní ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà? The emergence of a new state. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ìyàwó Comfort Ológunjà gbogbo gbà ní ti any evidence based media bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo ò ṣó kíní ẹ̀rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn mo ò ṣó ẹ̀rí kíní data tẹ̀ra rí yẹn èmi ń push ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà láti bíbá ẹni ẹ rí i pé àwọn Nigerians tó ń gbọ́ mi tó pọ̀ ẹ má wọrí ẹ̀yin diaspora mo gbà pé ẹ busy ẹ̀yẹn ṣáà máa support wa ẹ fi tó kù lẹ̀ fèmí mo sọ fún ọ pé mà á ní ó ń pawó lórí flag ó ń mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lórí flag gbogbo flag tí mo sẹ́ndì sílé kò sẹ́nì kankan tó lè sọ pé àwọn fowó rà kò sẹ́nì kankan tó bẹ́ẹ̀ tó máa sọ pé Koiki kó flag fún ọ ní Nàìjíríà ó wá gbọ́wọ́ lé lórí kódà owó ọ̀ra wa la fi ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ wàhálà tá a ṣe nílé pẹ̀lú àwọn flag yẹn kékeré lẹ pé wàhálà tá a ṣe mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin diaspora tẹ farabalẹ̀ tẹ gbọ́ ìpèpè ẹ support wa fọ́nrọ̀ flag yẹn ó dẹ̀ rìn ó sì pọ̀ nínú ilé ní bíbá fẹ́yìn tẹ bá fẹ́ rà àwọn tó wà lábúrò nìkan là ń ta fún gbogbo ṣé owó ta fi ship ẹ lọ ni. Lára kan náà àwọn bọ́lẹ̀ kájà media ìyẹn tẹ̀ tún fẹ́ wá lórí mi kó ń ra léye tẹ́mi ṣe ọ̀hún dẹ̀ máa ta ni. Mo ní níyàn lè bọ́ sí o owó tèmi ṣe gangan ó fẹ́ ṣe ní réètì yẹn ó fẹ́ rà ní réètì yẹn òun dẹ̀ fi máa tún ta can you imagine. Ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ náà wọ̀n rí flag ìgbà nílé ẹ má bínú kò dọ́dọ̀ yín nìyẹn bọ̀ pé èèyàn kan máa sọ pé ní state kan flag yẹn o tí Koiki kó wá sí Nàìjíríà o pé kò kódà ó dé làwùsá ó dé Port Harcourt ó dé Àbújá níbi tí flag yẹn rìn sí ẹ mọ wàhálà tá a ṣe ni kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó bá gba flag yẹn báyìí kẹ́ tó já because àwọn driver yẹn níbi tá a ti lọ ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ wọ́n máa fẹ́ mọ kí ló wà nínú ẹ̀ kí ló ní kí lè dì tó yìí orí èèyàn lẹ́gbẹ́ sínú ẹ̀ ni ẹ wo gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó bá fẹ́ gé flag yẹn àjọ táwọn tó lọ collect ẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni kankan tó bá ṣe à ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé ṣé flag yẹn nísìn lábíà bí àtàwọn kan rí flag ìmọ̀lẹ́ ti rí flag Koiki ta ló débẹ̀ wọ́n lọ sórí YouTube nìyẹn ẹlòmíì lè má lè wò wá live wọ́n máa ń wò later ni ẹ jẹ́ ká continue important of border 16 new states and borders lágbára Elédùmarè ìran Yorùbá máa bọ́ kúrò nínú oko ẹrú yìí àwa náà máa secure territory wa a máa secure border wa bọ̀ kò ń ṣe léè tí ọ̀rẹ́ mi sọ ní bíbá tóun sọ pé a máa dúró de àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dúró de àwọn legislation yìí olúkálùkù á máa jẹun sókè jẹun sílẹ̀.
nínú United Kingdom báwọn fẹ́ lọ fọ́ ọgbà jẹ́wọ́ kó táwọn Northern Ireland máa ṣe.
ẹgbọ́n nǹkan tó sọ o.
wọ́n máa wá ní ọ̀sẹ̀ẹ̀sẹ̀ wọ́n máa pọ̀ fún wọn City of London ni.
So Northern Ireland tó wá ń bọ́ǹbù City of London we are talking about during the IRA. Àwọn yẹn bá ìjà gidi ìjà gbóró gidi ìjà gidi thank you so much Idibila thank you for the super chat we appreciate owó tẹ̀ ń fún àyè náà la fi operate because that is the only means of where I go so mo sọ fún pé I am not entitled to public recourse So the little that we are getting from every one of you, òun lèmi náà fi ń tọ́jú family, mo fi ń tọ́jú ara mi, ládẹ̀ fi ń tọ́jú 15 staff. Ẹ̀rọ kò yí sì kí wọ́n ní 15 staff. Àwọn mi tẹ̀ wọ́n ti wà lọ́dọ̀ mi nísìn yàtọ̀ sáwọn kan tó yẹ pé wọ́n ní sùúrù ẹ̀ fáwọn tó wà nílé. Gbogbo àwọn tó wà lọ tí ó wà pẹ̀lú mi, I'm sure èyí tó ti pẹ́ pẹ̀lú mi á ti wà bíi more than 5 years nísìn, tó bá ju 6 years lọ, tó bá tẹ̀tí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ mo rántí. Ẹlòmíì ti wà lọ́dọ̀ mi láti ìgbà tí mo ti ń lọlé láti 2015. Mo dẹ̀ bàjẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn, àwọn náà dẹ̀ bàjẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mi. Yàtọ̀ sáwọn tẹ̀mọ̀ fáwọn kan ní fẹ́ ní sùúrù because bàbá wọn ní sùúrù èmi ti lọ. But àwọn tó wà pẹ̀lú mi, mo ń ṣe wọ̀nba tí mo lè ṣe. Mo dẹ̀ make sure pé bọ́ bá pè mí fún emergency tí mo lówó, wọ́n nira mi lára. Bí bàbá tó bí mi ṣe tó fi kú nìyẹn. Koiki la gbóyè fún. Ẹja lọ wọ àwọn IRA. Wọ́n bá UK fanto tán lẹ̀. This is 1974. I do not own the copyright of the video.
In Northern Ireland. This week, the provisional IRA...
This was 1974 when they were fighting the British to have their own independence.
Extended their bombing campaign to many country towns.
Ṣẹ́gbọ́, they extended their bombing campaign. Àwọn ní kí wọ́n kan lọ bomb, ní kí wọ́n kan lọ pààyàn. But báwo la ṣe fẹ́ lọ tí kò ní sí wàhálà tí a máa lọ nírọ̀rùn? The question then is, I need the millions of you kẹ́ bọ́ sójú títì. Bóyá federal government máa wá gbé helicopter tó máa ju bọ́ǹbù sísàlẹ̀ ni tí àgbáyé ò dẹ̀ ní rí ẹ jẹ́ ká máa wòran. Nígbà tá a ti mọ̀ pé àwọn ò ní kan ìjà, kí la wá ń sọ fún pé kẹ́ jáde káwọn kan tó wá ní àwọn ti gbàdú tó fi sí illusion and delusion tí gbogbo yẹn wá wá excited. Bí màmá kọ́ máa ka màmá wà bẹ́ẹ̀ gbá mi màá kọ́ máa ka comment màmá rẹ́rìn gbà. Ṣé àwọn people ìṣọwọ́ òkè sábà? Wọ́n sọ Yorùbá nation di comedy. Adé sọ fún pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Northern Ireland ẹ̀gbọ́n tó ṣe fún wọn ní 1974. That was gbọ́lọ́bí èmi náà okay 78. This is 4 years kó tó bí KOIKIMEDIA. Kó tó bí ẹni tó ń pè ní KOIKIMEDIA ní IRA. Wọ́n pè wọ́n ní àwọn Republic of báwo kí ni meaning kí ni IRA wọ́n yẹn gan sẹ̀. Wọ́n jà gidi ni. Wọ́n bá Britain fanto England. Wọ́n bá wọn fanto tán lẹ̀. And eventually today they are free. And when we talk, àwọn èèyàn ní ebi mò ń pogun. Báwo ló ṣe jẹ́ mi mò ń pogun? Ogun ti wà nílé already. There's poverty, there's economy, there's danger. You cannot travel from one end to the other. Let's watch more.
The damage they have 5 years.
Did you hear that? 200 bombs in 5 years. Break it down. Those of you that are good in maths. 200 bombs in 5 years. Wasale pé yàn kan sọ ẹ wá ń disrespect Ọlọ́run ẹ wá sọ Ọlọ́run di Ọlọ́run so no èṣù làwa ń sìn èmi ò sin Ọlọ́run nínú ilé mi ṣé èmi ò sin Ọlọ́run nínú ilé ẹ̀yin ò sin Ọlọ́run nínú ilé èèyàn kan péré ló sin Ọlọ́run tó ń bá Ọlọ́run communicate mad people all over the place.
Have reduced the town centre to rubble.
ṣẹ̀gbọ́n ọ̀hún tó sọ they reduce the towns because freedom people will be affected. They reduce the they reduce the town how to destroy everything. Gbogbo wọn ló wá padà di àwọn tó ń run ní parliament. Wọ́n dà pé this guy was part of them as ojú ẹ̀ familiar. Ta ló mọ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ máa dárúkọ ẹ̀. I think his face is familiar. Tony Blair, Bill Clinton wà lára àwọn tó bá wọn dá sí. Yes, Irish Revolutionary Army. Yẹn kan ní ẹ má jà o. À ń fi peaceful process. Níbo ló ti ń ṣe peaceful process lágbàáyé? Kò sí nǹkan kan tó peaceful. Ìjà ló máa gbẹ̀yìn ẹ̀. Èmi sọ fún yín pé èmi dé ìlú ní 1998 mo gbọ́ sọ Bill Clinton mo mọ̀ gbà tó ń lọ sí Northern Ireland wọ́n ṣe parí gbogbo ìjà yẹn fún wọn ni gbàtẹ́mi dé ìlú ní 1998 ni Bill Clinton gbogbo wàhálà yẹn náà yanjú ẹ̀ fún wọn tó ní kọ́ máa lọ ìyẹn kan sọ fún mi pé a máa gba Yorùbá nation náà ẹ̀mí mímọ́ ló máa gbà fún yín o àti bọ́lọ́run sọ̀rọ̀ ayé kó jágbàjágbà lọ́jà rí ní 2023. Kí lórúkọ bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn tó bá dá fèsì bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn mọ̀ kẹsàn fún mi I know it's part of the new member of the committee or cabinet in the new system of their government. UK was calling them terrorists. Nísìnyí wọ́n ṣe terrorists ni. Wọ́n pe Mandela ni terrorist ni.
Places for the young people.
Young people now. You guys don't have a job. How can you wake up every day? You don't have anything to do. And somebody is now telling us that when our senator gets there, òun ṣe ń sọ pé wọ́n jà nílùú yìí ni. So ó mọ̀ yẹn, ó wá ní ṣáwà fẹ́ jà. Fẹ́ jà o. But I'm a protest, and protest they bring anything out.
Which is city of Westminster. Ó bá pọ̀ bọ̀ ẹ̀ gbogbo kọ̀ǹga tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n bá da nǹkan sí pọ́ìsì sí inú bẹ̀. Tí wọ́n fi gbọ́ nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ tó fi pè wọ́n bóyá ẹ wá ẹ jẹ́ ká jókòó.
Kí ló sọ yẹn? Dialogue. Ó yá, kí ni mo sọ lánàá nínú program? Ẹni tó bá follow mi, kí ni mo sọ pé dialogue? Gbogbo ìgbà ni máa ń sọ. So mo mọ̀ báwọn bọ́lẹ̀ kájà ṣe ń rò pé àwọn ti gba country kò ní sí dialogue. A sì máa dialogue pẹ̀lú ara wa. Ìyá mi kan tẹ̀ pè mí lánàá wọ́n send voice. Wọ́n náà wà concern pé ṣé kò ní síbi warlord nǹkan pé ṣé kò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn nǹkan ṣe bí dá sí. Mo ní probability wà. Bó ṣé kò bẹ́tà ká jà kúrò ní Nàìjíríà for now. Ká wá sort out the internal problem láàrin ara wa. Dàpé ká wà ní Nàìjíríà lọ. Mo sọ lánàá nínú program tá a ṣe pé there will be dialogue. Not leadership dialogue. Dialogue lásán ni mo mean. Dialogue máa wà. Tó máa kó gbogbo wa sórí round table. Oh yeah, definitely. Ó mọ̀ kó ṣe Yorùbá nation tẹ́lẹ̀. He's not doing Yorùbá nation. So he was talking about Lagos State and the crime against humanity that they were doing. So he has the right to whatever views. But it become point reference pé in tó ń sọ pé yes, if Northern Ireland can fight their way, so why are we now saying that káwa lọ dúró fún àwọn politicians wa? So if he knows that Northern Ireland were bombing UK, they were bombing London, they were destroying things, now kí ló dé tí Northern Ireland ò ṣe lọ lo kí ló ń pè the legal means. So when people come here and say legal, oh yes, I love legal means. There's nothing bad in going through the legal means. And the first legal means is International Criminal Court. And if you go on our website, it's there with evidence. KOIKIMEDIA.com. You will find it there. There are documents there that says Yoruba document files. You will find everything that even include a receipt from the International Criminal Court. Federal government. So what you think another 4 years, what a mighty one. Wallahi tallahi is not be lie. And let me show you that evidence. Èèyàn kan wá sọ pé àwọn ṣe nǹkan kan, èèyàn kan kọ lẹ́tà sí UK Prime Minister àbí government wọ́n reply wọn evidence lélẹ̀. Àwọn wá sọ pé a send kankan kò sí evidence kò sí kankan, and every gullible idiot is just believing that nonsense. Ṣèbí lẹ́tà lélẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ bá respond wa ó bá reply wa. Kò sí even gan sef Nàìjíríà gan bó ṣe jẹ́ jagbajagba tó bá sì kọ lẹ́tà sí wọn, there is still probability that you kò lè kọ́ pẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ni kọ́ máa type ẹ̀ nínú computer because wọ́n ní computer ní gbogbo àwọn local government wọn is a shito country. So again mo fẹ́ lọ mú ìtì International Criminal Court. These are all the declarations. Gbogbo àwọn kìíní ìdùn sọ, but in reality báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ work? United Nations declare on the right of okay, I need right, but báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ work in reality? Ṣé a fẹ́ go through the same route pẹ̀lú àwọn IRA àbí a fẹ́ go through ká máa negotiate díẹ̀ títí tá máa fi délẹ̀ lérí and olúkálùkù ò lè sọ pé jọ báyìí ló máa bọ́ sí. So kò sí so èyí tẹ́ máa ń sọ pé yẹn but ẹ promise wa ní 2022 ẹ ṣe ẹ mọ gbogbo ilé tẹ́lẹ̀ ni, but I have said it from the day one. Kó tó di pé màdàrú oríṣiríṣi wà àárín méjì pé the only push ni pé nígbà tá à ní weapon tàbí fi bá gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì jà, the government spent 129 billion naira ní last year alone or whatever during the 4 years of the fucking for the shito government. So what I'm trying to say is nígbà táwọn ní that kind of weapon, you can't fight the government a conventional war. Guerrilla warfare, lẹ́ẹ̀ máa bá wọn jà. Part of the guerrilla warfare ni media. And you can think of any other areas of guerrilla warfare. So kí ló mú Northern Ireland tí àwọn ṣe yẹn àti bọ́ ọ̀bọ ìtọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Kí lè rò pé àwọn ṣe lè? Because they were looking for attention. They want the attention of the international community pé UK, England ó suppress àwọn mọ́lẹ̀.
Strabane was an obvious target for the civil rights campaign of the late 60s. And when the IRA...
Ẹ ṣe gan ni Alájà Màmá Lálùbáríkà. Mẹ́sẹ̀jì tẹ́ fi rán Màmá Koiki, ó ti dé Nàìjíríà. A ní káyìn yẹn support wa. A send ẹrù kan lọ́lé, wọ́n ti gbà nísìn. Wọ́n tẹ̀ ti send bíìlì sí mi wà láì. Bíìlì tí máa fi sanwó ẹrù yẹn. But wọ́n ti deliver ẹrù yẹn. Ẹ ṣe gan ni mọ́mì wa Alájà Màmá Lálùbáríkà. So gbogbo mẹ́sẹ̀jì yẹn ó ti kódà ó máa dé nfẹ́fẹ́ gbẹ́nu sọ̀rọ̀, ó tún máa kúrò láti state kan tún lọ sí state kan. Mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mọ́mì wa kan náà tó bá wa print flyers 500 ìyẹn náà máa move around láìpẹ́ yìí. So ẹ jẹ́ ká sì máa ṣe kí ni ìtàbá lè máa ṣe lọ. so ẹni tó bá sì fi help support wa because a gbọ́dọ̀ sanwó ẹrù yẹn gbogbo nǹkan ta send pátápátá bóyá mo kàn lè sọ pé mo fi cornflakes bí abí mẹ́rin sí àti chocolate bí méjì àti biscuit but gbogbo ẹrù tó kù pátápátá ẹrù Yorùbá nation ni tó dẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan tí mo lè review jáde because they are very very something within oyè yín àwọn àfi gbẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n ti tó máa wúlò nílé ni so tàbárẹ̀ tó fẹ́ support wa ọ̀tẹ̀ tí send bill sí mi àwọn tá a fi gbẹ́rù but torí pé relationship tí mo ní pẹ̀lú wọn wọ́n ti lọ deliver ẹrù yẹn ti wà deliver so ẹ ṣé gan ni alájà thank you so much for the àwọn ọlọ́mọ máa ń bá wa ṣe gbogbo àwọn kiri tá a máa ń gbé sọ́rùn yẹn ọlọ́run mọ̀ ẹ́ tó ń cost wọn thank you so much. Yorùbá rẹ̀ tó fẹ́ support wa nǹkan mọ̀ lè sọ kódà wọ́n tẹ̀ ó yẹ kó tẹ̀lé send invoice gan ìtẹ̀ láì dé àkíní kéjì ẹ̀ so that at least ká tẹ̀lé prepare fún ká gbọ́wọ́ jọ ká lè send ká lè fún wọn lówó. People are scared for freedom.
Is where the provision.
Britain lo gbogbo security agency wọn pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ wọ́n infiltrate wọn. Ìyẹn mo ṣe sọ fẹ́ǹtẹ̀ wà lé pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà lẹ́yìn intelligentsia máa wà nínú ẹ̀ kò ṣe pé kẹ́ wá jókòó sórí social media nìkan èyí náà ló máa fi mú fúnlẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn fine girls wẹ má bínú ẹ wọnú barracks lọ ẹ gbé ọmú síta fáwọn sójà wá pọ̀nkan lé lọ́wọ́ ní kíákíá wá sọ bí tí gbogbo ẹ wà fún yín àwọn sójà òótọ́ bá ti rí ọmú nísìn gbogbo nǹkan tó ń lọ ọkùnrin máa nì ẹ fi ọmú fi gbá wọn ní gbogbo ara wọn máa ségè gbogbo bí tí nǹkan wà tó ń lọ tó ń bọ̀ lọ́ máa sọ fún ìta ẹ máa lọ sọ fáwọn tiwa kò ṣe pé káwá jókòó ẹ má bínú pé mo ń lo that kind of people ìjàngbara gbogbo nǹkan la máa lò fine girls lady Friday you can't go inside soldier why you dey talk like that soldier oga na me na I come last week no I no see you last week maybe na Mahmood you see last week okay soldier wàá kọ́ ra máa súnmọ́ ni torí iwájú ọmú yẹn báyìí wàá kọ́ máa fi gbé lẹ́nu ni owó olúlé lọ nìyẹn kí yá lọ máa gbé nǹkan lẹ̀ fún ẹ ló máa mọ bí tí gbogbo nǹkan wà ọ̀bọ́kùnrin bá lọ ọmọ adé wọn máa àtàkọ ọkùnrin ọkùnrin ò ní kankan lára bọ̀yẹn obìnrin ẹ wọlé pẹ̀lú wọn ìtọ́ba ẹ lọ rẹ ẹja tútù ẹ fún wọn lẹ́jà jẹ ẹgbẹ́ kan sínú ẹ̀ ó jẹ́ lọ nìyẹn jókòó rẹ̀ ẹ̀ ìjàngbara ni gbogbo nǹkan la máa fi jà bẹ́ẹ̀ni ṣe ń jà lórí social media èyí náà máa jà lọ́ọ̀ the ground pẹ̀lú intelligent gbogbo tó ń lọ nínú port wà lóye ká ti mọ̀ lẹ́nìí gbogbo movement tó ń lọ tó ń bọ̀ bí ilẹ̀kẹ̀dí gbogbo aircraft tó ń lọ ní Nàìjíríà lóye ká máa mọ tó ń move one drop weapon ẹ̀yin sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ̀ bí tí wọ́n ẹ máa dictate helicopter ẹ bá ṣe gbéra wá ti fún information pé helicopter ti gbéra láti Èkó ó ti gbéra láti Maiduguri o Ogun State ló máa land sí o ẹ̀yin adé wà níbẹ̀ ẹ gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn àjẹgbẹrẹ Koiki ẹ wá send nìkan sí wa send nothing to anybody inú ilé ni gbogbo nǹkan ta pé ló wà ìjàngbara là ń pè ìjàngbara brain wa máa ṣiṣẹ́ bí aago ni ẹ̀sìn dúró kí bàbá kí tó ìwá sọ̀rọ̀ fún yín bàbá 87 years old tàbí ọ̀lẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ kan fún yín irú èmi ni mo lè fún yín ní that kind of spirit bàbá kan máa rí ẹja ẹ̀ka tẹ̀gbọ́n bàbá díẹ̀ ẹja gbọ́n nǹkan tó sọ nígbà díẹ̀.
Therefore, difficult for a man in my position to be happy.
Mo ń bọ̀ jẹ́ kí n lọ sókè mo padà bọ̀ nísìn.
Everything that is happening in Nigeria is working against the Yoruba.
Kò ní work against wa ìlú burúkú.
For a long time, for many months, borders to the Yoruba nation, land borders have been closed. Essentially closing down the trade between the Yoruba nation and neighboring Benin Republic. Only a few months ago, the government announced a reopening of the border, but it has not been the same thing as it used to be. At the same time, the borders in the north are all wide open. I am told that there are a total of 37 borders in the north, all of them wide open. Not only are they open officially, they are essentially closed down, no longer operating, because the federal government of Nigeria has left the gates all open as a matter of decision and policy. The president of Nigeria himself announced in 2017 that anybody from anywhere in Africa could come into Nigeria without any passport or travel document of any type. And we have discovered since then that was a coded message to the Fulani people
in all parts of West Africa and so on to start coming to Nigeria.
ṣẹ̀gbọ́n kan tí bàbá wa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn Buhari ń fi kóòdù bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ so kóòdù làwọn náà máa fi bẹ́ẹ̀ náà sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni nonsensical. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbọ́ ṣé ká ṣí phone line yẹn díẹ̀ briefly at least I have to touch on all the grey areas na fi touch because mo fi pẹ́ so let me open the phone line as usual 2:00 maximum quarter past on my wind down so mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí the line is open ẹ jẹ́ ká mú nọ́mbà yẹn wá sókè because tá a bá ti wà ní back end nọ́mbà yẹn ò fẹ́ show so that's the number as well so ẹ tó bá fi gbọ́ the full broadcast sí baba Akíntóyè ẹ lọ sórí YSDM Global TV ó yẹ kí gbogbo yín náà ti lọ subscribe sọ́dọ̀ wọn they only have 851 so I don't know you know bí a ṣe gbàtà wà dé like I remember àwọn like gossip reality nìkan àwọn tá à ń follow Yorùbá nation kò àwọn kan like gossip gbogbo jágba ọ̀rọ̀ àlùfànṣá ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní value kankan tó ní value sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation you know ẹ rò pé gbogbo àwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ló ní làákàyè àwọn bọ́lẹ̀ kájà o ẹ lọ máa gbọ́ Yorùbá world media kẹ gbọ́ àwọn media gidi kẹ gbọ́ àwọn Ìyáfúnkẹ́ Ìyálájé ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Mike Alá you know àwọn ọ̀dọ́ sí òǹṣẹ́ ìjẹun gbọ́ kí ẹ lọ dáwó sórí kíní ẹ bá fowó síbẹ̀ jọ ẹ fà fowó sórí YSDM ànídòwó láti fi operate central account yẹn máa share details yẹn so a ti ṣí phone line wa tó ti di 2:00 so that a lè wind down so lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí the International Criminal Court is a good place it's a good place to take anybody okay mo fẹ́ show ti Nàìjíríà lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo bóyá máa padà show ẹ̀ àti gbọ́dẹ̀ nínú táyà rẹ̀ yẹn tó bá fẹ́ wọ àwọn videos yẹn ẹ lọ wo gbogbo bó ṣe oríṣiríṣi bẹ́ẹ̀ náà kẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà lé gbogbo manual thing tẹ́lẹ̀ fi kọ́ra ní so many things owó ẹ̀kọ́ la máa fẹ́ nu sọ níbí báyìí tá a bá lọ sórí website wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo sọ ẹ̀ rí ibi tí wọ́n ti gbé Nàìjíríà lọ sí ICG International Criminal Court gbogbo kiri yẹn kò ń yá ni ṣẹ́rí kò sẹ́ni tó like diplomacy bọ̀ kò ń yá à ń ṣọ́ ẹ̀ lọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan kó tó di pé mo ti wà diverted a little bit kò ń yá so you know gazette àwọn baba lead Dr. Aliyu ṣe ìyẹn náà wúlò ẹ̀dọ́ bá dẹ̀ ti ń pè briefly ní àdìsáàn púpọ̀ lẹ́nu ẹgbọ́n sókè ẹ go straight to the point à ń gbọ́ yín sà àti ń gbọ́ yín ẹ gbọ́n sókè à ń gbọ́ yín. ẹ ní sùúrù ẹ má bínú ẹ ní sùúrù so cop ẹ ní sùúrù. Rally ò tí tàn tẹ́lẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni kankan tó sọ pé rally tàn láti December 17 láti issue rally so the reason to ṣe quiet ni pé because of the think tank that are planning around it. So rally is still something that is still ongoing. We have never said rally has ended. Láti December 17 the rally ti wà. Ìjọba tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Lagos State yẹn ló ṣe jẹ́ kí wọ́n fall back láti fẹ́ re-strategize. So at the appropriate time they will tell us when and what to do again. So for now nobody have ever said there is no more rally in Yoruba land.
Okay.
So bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn sá ẹ ṣe gan ni so ẹni tó bá ń wá ẹ̀rí pé ṣé tòótọ́ ni wọ́n gbé Nàìjíríà lọ sí government bí àwọn tún ṣe ń tà mọ́ báyìí wọ́n gbé federal government lọ sí court òun lélẹ̀ kí lè rí International Criminal Court receipt lélẹ̀ kò ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ 2021 dẹ̀ lélẹ̀ kò tẹ́ ń ṣe 2022 so èèyàn kan wá dé láàrin méjì àwọn náà bàbá èèyàn mọ tó ń ṣe ẹ bá kí ni gbogbo nọ́sẹ̀nsì ẹ̀ náà àgbà yahoo àwọn tó gbé bàbá tiẹ̀ jáde náà ìwọ tó ń sọ pé àgbà yahoo gbé bàbá tiẹ̀ bó bá dẹ̀ ti kú lọ pé spirit bàbá tiẹ̀ kó bá bàbá wọn jà bad people àwọn bàbá yẹn mọ wọ́kọ̀ fraud wa for 3 years ṣé bí dádì ẹ̀ ṣe fraud in Nàìjíríà ló máa jẹ́ nìyẹn mad people wọ́n ní wọ́kọ̀ fraud wa for 3 years sáwọn lọ́ọ́ ba Nàìjíríà jẹ́ àwọn tó fraud yín tí wọ́n fi sá kúrò ní Nàìjíríà ò lọ sọ fún wọn pé kí ló dé tẹ́ ṣe fraud Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀ fi lọ́ọ́ ṣerú níta. Dear Sir or Madam, The Hague, 13th of July 2021, the Office of the Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court acknowledges receipt of your document and letter. Níbi táyé délé ní nísìn, ẹ wá náà wọ́n ṣíù di document àfẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ rí ni ẹ̀mẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ rí o kọ́ má ba gbàgbọ́ bí o ṣé àwọn Yorùbá láwọn yẹn ń jà fún ṣá. I don't think ó náà pé wọ́n ti understand pé ìlú là ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ kò ń ṣe èmi nìkan lèmi ń jà fúnra mi nísìn èmi kàn lo mídíà tèmi even àwọn kan lè disagree pẹ̀lú views mi normal nìyẹn bọ̀ káwá máa ṣe gbà tẹ́ pé àwọn sector kan ṣé máa lé gbogbo akúrò tẹ́ bá irú àwọn ilé bá tẹ̀ gba Yorùbá nation fún wa lóòótọ́ a máa jẹ ọlọ́mọ ẹ̀kọ́ ti púpọ̀ nu wa mọ́lé irú èmi báyìí ní sọ́lé nìkan lọ tì mí mọ́lé wọ́n lè nìkan lọ tì èmi mọ́lé àtàwọn ọmọ Lúkà àti bàbá Èkìtì. Can you imagine? This communication has been duly ẹgbọ́n kan tó sọ entered in the communication register of the office. We will give you consideration to this communication as appropriate in accordance with the provisions of the Roman Statute of the International Criminal Court. Please note, this acknowledged letter does not mean an investigation has been opened. Wọ́n kọ́ sí ẹ imagine wọ́n gba lẹ́tà látọdún méjì wọ́n tẹ̀ tí bẹ̀rẹ̀ investigation ìyàn kan wá sẹ́pà kọ lẹ́tà sí UN and then so what? Ẹ wá kọ lẹ́tà sí UN kí ni ẹ wá sọ fún wa? Ẹ bá kọ lẹ́tà sí Joe Biden automated lè máa gbà ẹgbọ́n sókè ìyá alálùbáríkà ẹgbọ́n yín máa kí pọ̀ lọ́ba dé kí ebi ni ẹ mọ́ mi.
Ọlọ́run ti tẹ́yìn yìí lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Ṣàlọ́.
Ṣẹ́gbọ́n. Ṣé ní nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ kọ́kọ́ sọ torí mo mọ̀ pé gbogbo èdè tó ń gbọ́rọ̀ yìí á pọ̀ níye. Ní ìsìn káfíń pé lóòótọ́ wọ́n ti gba Yorùbá nation fún wa. Gbogbo àwọn podcast yẹn ń kọ́ àti Murisala Mohammed tó wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yẹn.
Àná àti gba nation. Ṣẹ́rí ọ̀rọ̀ kìíní àìgbà nation so awareness ni gbogbo àṣì ń ṣe àtàwọn àtà.
Èmi náà jẹ́ torí mi sí àwọn tó ń tẹ̀lé owó rẹ̀ bí àdìgbò ti tọ́ rárá. Owó rẹ̀ bí àdìgbò ti tọ́ wọ́n dẹ̀ pọ̀ bí àwọn èèyàn gan.
Okay.
Torí mi àwọn understand ní sẹ́lẹ̀ explanation no border no anything border ní ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ fún tó jẹ́ tiwa táìmù pé.
Èmi ò náà sọ lọ́nà wíwẹ̀ border.
Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ní ti sọ́jọ́ owó kò sọ́wọ́ kò kí kẹ̀kẹ́ báwo lè ti gba nation láì border ń bẹ̀.
Wọ́n náà ti gba nation fún Ìgbòho kó lè wá ṣe soft landing kí Ìgbòho lè wá land ní gbẹ́ngàn mi.
Ọlọ́run bẹ̀yìn ẹ má jọ̀rọ̀ àbí àwọn sọ láti kí àwọn èèyàn lè sí.
Ó yé mi ma.
Ẹ má lọ orí ìpàdé ìjẹjọ tó lọ náà. Ẹni tó bá máa gbọ́ náà lè gbọ́.
Ẹ ṣe gan ni.
Ẹ fi òtítọ́ ṣe ẹ bá wa lo ìtọ́lọ́rọ́ rẹ̀.
No problem.
Bọ́lá tó ti bẹ̀rù ẹ mọ bó ṣe ń lọ ẹ sí àwọn èèyàn lè ṣe má sọ̀rọ̀ pamọ́. Tó yẹ yín ẹni tó bá máa gbọ́ pé ìjọba fi Kristo mọ́ náà ọlọ́run á jẹ́ ṣe ní lájẹ́
àmín. Ẹ ṣe gan ni.
Ẹ ṣe ó dàbọ̀.
Tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa border mo kí o gbẹ̀ ti all over the world. Ẹ̀gbọ́n tárákùnrin yìí sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ṣe rí border gangan ni problem. The moment you don't have the control of your kí lè rò pé UK ṣe ń block àwọn èèyàn pé kọ́ máa wọ̀ UK because tá a bá ti ní èrò tó pọ̀ jù àní mọ criminal láàrin wa àní mọ olè láàrin wa so borders are the key aspect of any country around the world. Border èèyàn máa protect ẹ̀pẹ̀lẹ́ mi ẹ̀ ní ẹgbọ́n sókè ẹni tó ń bá a sọ̀rọ̀.
Olayomi ẹ káàárọ̀ láti Amẹ́ríkà láti ń pè.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ sà.
Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ máa ràn yín lọ́wọ́.
Àmín sà.
Mo fẹ́ advice gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa tó ń gbọ́ program yìí. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká tẹ̀lé ẹnu ìwọ̀nba ìrànlọ́wọ́ tá a bá lè ṣe fún Olayomi KOIKIMEDIA ká máa ṣe nítorí bí tá a ti ń gbóòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀. Number 1 nìyẹn. Number 2, àwọn tí wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n ti gba ìlú fún wa wọ́n kóra wọn jọ wọ́n ń ṣépè fún bàbá Bánjí Akíntóyè. Wọ́n ń ṣépè fún olóyè Ìgbòho. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ èpè tí wọ́n ń dá direct sáwọn ẹni ẹlẹ́ni tó ń jà fún wa yìí. Ṣé àwọn náà bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ ni wọ́n ṣe direct ìgbé sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn tó bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́? Èpè mélòó náà ti ṣẹ́ fún àwọn tó bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ for 62 years? Àwọn 63 years. Èpè mélòó náà ti kóra jọ tó ń ṣẹ́ fún wọn? Tó wá jẹ́ pé àwọn táwọn fẹ́ gba ìlú fún yín láàrin ọdún méjì sọdún mẹ́ta lè wá kóra jọ lẹ̀ ṣépè fún. Èmi ò mọ bí Yorùbá ṣe wá ń kọ̀ débi pé aṣọ wa wá kọ́ gítà àmọ́ bá ṣe fẹ́ yọ̀ fún. Tí èèyàn kan máa sọ pé òun gba ìlú tí ó dẹ̀ ń fi ẹnu gba ìlú fún yín mi ò mọ ó dà pé àwọn illiterate ló kóra wọn jọ sílẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí mi ṣe rí. Ìkan tí wọn bá jẹ́ ọpọlọ wọn bá dọ́bà èèyàn ló ń gba ìlú fún yín. Àwọn gómìnà sì ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n wà ní ipò wọn. Lọ sí báràkì kẹ́ lé wọn jáde kẹ́ lẹ́ ọkùpá ibẹ̀. Ẹ wá ń fi ẹnu ẹ fi ń ya ẹran sọ́bẹ̀ fún wa. Wọ́n náà arrest àwọn èèyàn sórí ilẹ̀ wa ń sọ fún wa. Good morning good afternoon lẹ sọ fún wa.
Àná àwọn èèyàn wọ́n wà ní pàǹtí bí sẹ́ńbà ń sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ pàǹtí lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́ba ayé wọn kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀.
I don't know ọ̀rọ̀ tá a ti ń gbọ́ lẹ́nu yín for past 1 year òun náà lè ṣe repeat lójoojúmọ́ it's your right self determination is your right ìwé kọ́lá fẹ́.
ìyẹn ló easy láti sọ èbó náà mò ń sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan dádì ìyẹn ló easy láti sọ ju mo lè máa wá lójoojúmọ́ kí n máa sọ fún yín pé ìsàwọ̀ á ti mọ̀ pé right wa ni sẹ́ẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ yẹn.
yes now ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa repeat yẹn fún wa lójoojúmọ́ ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa repeat yẹn fún wa lójoojúmọ́ ìgbà tọ́kọ̀ mi kú ìgbà tó yà fẹ́ gbọ́n ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn mọ́ nígbà mo believe pé tó bá jẹ́ pé plan tí bàbá àti Ìgbòho ní against December bóyá àbá ti kó ní gbogbo rubbish ta kò sí ní January tí epo wọn ti gbogbo ẹ̀wọ̀n ẹ̀ bí àbá ti kó ń bẹ̀ nítorí pé crowd tí bàbá fẹ́ gbé jáde ní December yẹn òun làbá ti fi gbà lu wa woman yìí ó dẹ̀ mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ ó dẹ̀ delay wa ó dẹ̀ mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ sọ wá sínú òkùnkùn bíbí tó wá jù wá sí i nísìnyí báyìí àwọn olórí burúkú tó wà ní gbogbo wa sí wọ́n múra ogun bẹ̀tẹ̀ àwọn wà níbi tẹ́tà ń bára wa jà à ń ṣépè fún àwọn tó olórí wa tó ń fẹ́ kó wa kó nínú làásìkò à ń ṣépè fún wọn àwọn tí ò níṣẹ́ àwọn bọ́ọ̀lì kájà mídíà wọ́n wá kóra wọn jọ wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ kátikàti ẹ wo ẹ má jẹ́ kí n gba àkókò tó lé lómi.
ẹ ṣe gan ni thank you. Mo ti sọ without mixing word we have not got a country yet and I am ready for debate with any one of them at any time. Anybody nínú wọn kó send message. Kò ń ṣe pé à ń bára wa jà àìtí gbàlú gbogbo táwọn sì ń ṣe yẹn awareness and campaign náà ni. Ṣẹ̀rí pé nísìn ọdún to change the tone. Kò sí occupation mọ́ awareness la tó ń ṣe. So kí ni gbogbo àwọn ń ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀? But we have told you so many times that we should not allow them to let us lose our focus. Àwa sì máa fún yín ní up to date of bí ìlú ṣe fẹ́ jáde nínú ìlú kan. Pé ogun mọ́mí mi àbí mọ̀ pé ogun ni ẹ̀gbọ́n sókè. Èmi tó bẹ̀ láti pé ogun ni ṣé mi ni CSI àbẹ́mi ni bàbá Akíntóyè àbẹ́mi ni àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá. Ìtẹ́mi kan sọ ni pé ká prepare mind wa pé diplomacy o a máa lò ó dialogue o a máa lò ó bọ̀ ní tìjà a gbọ́dọ̀ gbáradì fún náà ẹ̀gbọ́n sókè mọ́mí.
Ẹ ṣe ẹ kò ṣe ṣe rí Ọlọ́run kó mú èdè àìyedè kúrò ní agbo wa látijọ́ tí aláyé ti dáyé ní ìwà ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ti wà lára àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀yìn Jésù náà ni Júdásì wà ṣùgbọ́n ìlérí Ọlọ́run pàpà ṣe àwọn pípọ̀ òmìnira ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé wọn kúrò ní picture wa sódà á lè focus á lè mọ nǹkan tá à ń ṣe wọn àwọn yẹn ti lọ sí apá kan ẹ jẹ́ á fi wọ́n lẹ̀ síbẹ̀ mo tún sẹ́ǹsì kinní kan nígbà tí ìyá sọ pé interim government ti wà à ń gbọ́ báyìí pé Buhari organize fún interim government ìyá dẹ̀ ti ní òun ti yan àwọn 8 interim governors maybe they are part of the deal. It's a deal. I can smell it o I'm not too sure but I can smell that pé possibly that's the deal. wọ́n ní ìyá lọ sí Àbújá so àwọn mẹ́jọ yẹn ní ìyá ló dẹ̀ dájú sí wọn àwọn other leaders they are not aware. So these are the politics tí màmá yẹn wá ṣe ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ẹjọ́ lẹ̀ Ọlọ́run dá. Ọlọ́run máa dá ẹjọ́ yẹn tó yẹ pé kò sẹ́ni tó máa ṣòwò erùpẹ̀ tí ò ní gbowó òkúta. Kálukú ló máa gbèrè ẹ̀ ó lè má jẹ́ ìní ó lè má jẹ́ bó ṣe ń ta wá lára bẹ̀tẹ̀ ẹ̀sán máa ké ẹ̀sán ákè kọ́ máa ṣépè fún àwọn bàbá yẹn. Bí èpè tí àwọn bàbá yẹn ò bá ṣe nǹkan èpè ò lè mú wọn. Wọ́n ní èpè apelépè àṣàṣì apalásàṣì tí èpè ò bá ríbi dúró sí á tún padà sórí ẹni tó ṣẹ. That's the way èpè works. So people have to be careful. At the same time ṣẹ́rí Balógun Èkó. These are the politics tó ń ṣe nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. It's a funny game. We are not doing democracy. Everybody is crazy. Torí pé kálukú wá nǹkan tó máa jẹ. Bí bàbá yìí ṣe máa ń yí ti Tinubu tẹ́lẹ̀, mi ò lè dìrímù pé ó tún lè lọ máa sọ pé ọmọ èèyàn kì í ṣèdí bẹ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀, ó tún lọ máa di kọ́kọ́ sí Tinubu. It's a shame. Tọrọ ti fún lọ́wọ́. Ó dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé tí Tinubu bá débẹ̀, bóyá ìsí post kan. That's the way our people behave. Tí ìlú yẹn ò fi lè da, Nàìjíríà ò lè da. Wọ́n bá gbàdúrà, wọ́n bá àtúnṣe pè fún kò lè da. Pínpín náà ló máa pín. Lílọ ló ń káyè pọ̀ ìlú yẹn máa pín ni kò lè rọrùn. Wọ́n máa pín ni. So ó máa pín stage yẹn là ń dé yìí àgbọ̀dọ̀ kanjú mọ́ ẹjọ́ my brother. Ẹgbẹ́ ṣe ń ṣe náà keep on doing it. Káwọn èèyàn jọ wọ́n máa support yìí. You educate us quite a lot. Ó dẹ̀ máa ń fi èmi personally I don't know about others lọ́kàn balẹ̀. So tá a bá rọra ní sùúrù díẹ̀ ìlú ìmáa tó pín is getting there. Ayé má jà kó dúró is getting there. We are getting there. Because tí àwọn ìyá ìgan ò bá kó dàrúdàpọ̀ wá a ò mọ̀ pé nǹkan báyìí wà ahead of us. Ẹjọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ God knows about it. A mọ̀ pé ìlú fúnra ẹ̀ máa pín is getting there ẹjọ́. Ó máa pín ó máa tó pín. That's my belief. Ó máa tó pín now we are at that stage. Tábà lọ rọ́pò ọ̀rọ̀ tí Dr. Maliki àsọ gbogbo àwọn nǹkan ilé pípé bí àmà ìdíwà fún. Àbí? We are getting there. So no, àárọ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ ẹjọ́. God bless you for the good job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mo kí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa káàkiri àgbáyé. Everywhere in the world there is dispute and there are some dispute a máa push ẹ̀ lọ sí International Criminal Court. There are some dispute internally láti máa deal pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. It depends on the dispute. Hello, caller.
Hey, good afternoon.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Ẹ̀mí ni ẹ sà.
Ẹ̀rọ tó wà lẹ̀, ẹ bá rántí gbà kan mo sọ pé ọ̀nà tí àwọn politician àwọn private and data yìí bí ẹni tó ń play chess ni. Mo ní nǹkan kan wà tó ń pè ní crowd management. Ṣẹ̀rí tí ó bá ti kú rúrú tó ti dé pé ó ti fẹ́ gbiná. Wọ́n á wá ọkọ̀ tó máa fi kúlù áńgà yẹn. Wọ́n á fi kúlù. Mo sọ́kà ẹ̀ mo fi lọ́wọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ yín lórí ṣọ́ọ̀bù. Ta lẹni tó pàṣẹ nígbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ Ṣàgámù interchange protest yẹn? Ta ló pàṣẹ pé kọ́ wọlé àti ìtọ́ṣe nìbàdàn?
Mo rántí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Ọ̀rẹ́dì pé ọ̀rẹ́dì láti àtọ́. Ta lẹni tó sọ̀pẹ́sì mood àwọn èèyàn? So that is
because mood yẹn strong nígbà yẹn.
People were determined and ready to take back what is it. So ní mo ṣe à ń ta kẹ́sì lọ́wọ́ kan ni. Mi ò mọ àwọn tí ó ń jókòó ní war room tó ń foríkorí bá ṣe fẹ́ gba ọ̀rọ̀ àjọwà yìí. But what I need them to know is they can't command or control it because ìjà ọlọ́run ni. So bó bá ṣe wá kọ̀ọ̀kan wa lọ́kàn la ṣe máa gbà. Àwọn kan nínú wáǹsì wọ́n ti pinnu pé ṣé refinery ọ̀la àwọn possible yẹn bí àwọn máa lánà sí ṣé yìí mọ̀ ni. But because they keep suppressing the will of God, wọ́n náà ti fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan ẹ̀. They keep controlling the crowd anger. On suppress ẹ̀ títí tó máa lọ fi dìbò ń sìn. Tó bá dìbò tán, wọ́n wá sọ fún yín pé ṣebí àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá náà dìbò, ọmọ Yíbò náà dìbò. Pé so ó ṣe jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin kékeré kan lè máa lẹ fẹ́ jà ẹ̀. So we are already at the precipice of ká gba ìlú wa padà when that crowd came out. But ẹ lé wọn padà wọlé, everybody wá ń wò ṣùnà sí. Nítorí wọ́n pè ní ìyá onítìrì, well, wọ́n lọ dáríjì ni o. She looked like someone who's controlling the behavior. Pé iṣẹ́ tó gbé lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn because every time tá a bá jáde báyìí táwọn èèyàn jáde pé kó dáa protest ẹ̀yà wọ everywhere. Ìyá tún jáde pé báyìí la ṣe máa gbé pé kọ́kọ́ lẹ́tà báyìí nìkan. Mo dẹ̀ sọ justice pé wọ́n ṣe ń declare ìlú ni ìyá ṣe declare yẹn tọ́lá ò declare spiritually. What is the meaning of that in 21st century? So ẹni tẹ́lẹ̀ ń sọ yìí ìran ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ Abiola is contesting for ọtọ́jọ́ ọmọkọ ẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni àníyàn tẹ̀ tún ó dọ̀ máa make sure pé tó bá di president gbogbo apárápátá lòun máa kó sínú prison pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho àti gbogbo àti bàbá pípé.
So you need to start connecting the dot.
Mo rẹ̀ pọ́kàn dẹ́mẹ̀ nìyẹn rí mo rẹ̀ pọ́kàn dẹ́mẹ̀.
Ẹni tẹ́lẹ̀ ń pè ní onítìrì fúnra rẹ̀ she is a politician. So at what point lòun wá decide pé òun ò fẹ́ jẹ́ politician or òun fẹ́ ṣe Yorùbá nation? So you need to understand that we need to start connecting dots and start listening to the inner voice. The inner voice ká máa listen sí. Now ọ̀rọ̀ ICC tẹ̀ ń sọ.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ìlú tá a wà yìí Koiki. Do you know that there is something called Bill of Rights? Tí tí Britain fẹ́ gbé wọlé to supersede the human rights tí international community operate lé lórí. Tó bá dẹ̀ fi lè pass bill yẹn, Britain máa ṣe anything tó wù wọ́n fún anything pertaining human rights. Bí ẹni tó fẹ́ gbà wé ìlú yìí sí tó máa gbé wọn lọ kọ́ọ̀tì Brussels human rights court kò ní sí yẹn mọ́. And kí ló dé wọ́n prepare ara wọn fún suit táwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tá máa file against ìlú wọn of the atrocity that they've created, that they've caused. Ni mo ṣe sọ pé àwọn ará bíbá yìí àwa la ní Ifá, àwọn náà ní bó ṣe gbé Ifá. Wọ́n ti rí nǹkan tó ń bọ̀ sẹ́, so wọ́n ń gbá defense lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo laws wọn tó máa ṣe protect wọn tí wọ́n ṣe ní pay reparation, òun ni wọ́n ń fight lọ́wọ́. So àwa need láti jáde. Who is stopping these people that want to go out to free us? Who is stopping them? Because taba occupy gbogbo ilẹ̀ wa, and ó lọ́rọ̀ kan tẹ́ máa ń sọ tó máa ń bí èmi nú pé we want our nation back. Nation wo la want back? We are already on our land. We want to get rid of those that keep keeping us as slaves. Ojú wa ti là. Illusion tó lò. I mean, ó fi pen and paper, constitution, ó fi gba ìlú mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Why? Because it was never our intention. Àwa kọ́ la kọ constitution, kò sí nǹkan tó kọ̀ wá. We have our way of life before this. So now that our eyes is open and clear, it's very simple. Ìwọ tó bá lòdì sí nǹkan tó ọmọ Yorùbá ń sọ, gbogbo wa pa ọkàn pọ̀ báyìí, aláfẹ́ gbàdúrà, we are going back to our culture, our ways. Ẹni tó bá lòdì sí tó gbéra ẹ̀ lọ́mọ Yorùbá, give him exile notice straight. Wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe láyé ẹjọ́ ẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ọba máa fún ẹ ní exile notice. Wọ́n máa lé ẹ, wọ́n á gbé ẹ lọ sí junction ìlú. Wọ́n á ní kó máa lọ ògùdọ̀ padà wá. So èmi làwọn gómìnà yín tó ṣì ń tẹ́tí kunkun àtàwọn ọba tí wọ́n ti sọ̀rọ̀ sókè yẹn. Tọ́mọ ìlú bá jáde tán, when you're not able to control what God's will anymore, which is people's anger, we will chase out.
Okay.
So kí là ń dúró dé ẹjọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run gbogbo ICC ilẹ̀ tàtẹ́ nǹkan ẹ̀ wọ́n máa bẹ́ẹ̀dì ẹ̀ ní ṣebí ìlú tó ní ICC lẹ́gbẹ̀rún ẹ̀
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ṣe báwo lọ́ organize ẹ̀
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ṣé ẹ ti rí kọ́ find any òyìnbó guilty ní ICC it's suppress African president.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
That's what it's there for. And anytime they try láti beat wọn nínú chess lọ play, wọ́n á dàrú pé lọ́wọ́, wọ́n á tún lọ drawing board, wọ́n á lọ change law. Òun ni Bill of Rights wọ́n fẹ́ gbé wọlé ní UK.
Ọlọ́run bá dé nínú rẹ̀ á tètè yọ àwa kúrò àwọn èèyàn wa push tí a dẹ̀ ń fẹ́ tó kù yìí làákàyè wa máa ṣe láti jẹ́ kí push ẹ̀ kó jáde àwọn tó wà ní think tank room. Ẹ ṣé gan, because of the time, I'm always pressed with time today because ẹ ṣé gan, love you so much.
One last thing.
Yeah.
You, every one of us, like ilẹ̀ ló ń gbé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. So nobody can take anything for you. Go outside now if you want and claim your cities back. Ẹni tó bá ní gómìnà tó bá ní kẹ̀kẹ́ má gbà òun ní kẹ́ lé. A ní àwọn nǹkan agbára lọ́wọ́ táwọn bàbá ńlá wa fún wa èlò. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ẹ yẹ ká kọ́ gbọ́ soundtrack yìí. Once again, this was 2021. I was on the ground. This is Igogon. After tí a lọ fún Serikini 7 days quick notice. Imagine tó bá jẹ́ pé irú quick notice yìí là ń bá bọ̀ ní gbogbo 3 years tá a ti ń prepare mind wa. All of a sudden, wọ́n dẹ̀ fi kọ́kọ́ sáàárín ẹ̀ everything òun ló lọ bó ṣe lọ yìí nísìn. And at the end of the day, everybody is now asking, kí ló dé tá a ṣe tí ì lọ? The question is, because the politician played one fast game ahead of us. Ẹgbẹ́ òsókè ìyá wa briefly quickly. Ẹgbẹ́ òsókè.
Ẹ káàárọ̀ gbogbo lé. Ṣẹ́rí èmi kò fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ǹjẹ́ ọ̀jì èmi àti pẹ́sì onítìrí dúpẹ́ onítìrí èmi ni kó máa jáde lẹ́nu mi because the woman is demonic. ó ní àwọn èṣù kan òde tí ti wọ̀ láṣọ kò lè ń ṣe ẹni tó yẹ ká máa gbé lékè ká máa dárúkọ ìyá wa ìyá àwọn wo ẹjọ́ torí Ọlọ́run bí a ṣe máa block obìnrin from disturbing us kò ń ṣe awareness ló ń ṣe o awareness kọ̀ọ̀kan ló ń ṣe anti Yorùbá nation ló ń ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn tó ti fi demonic influences ẹ̀ tó ti fi magnetize sí ọ̀dọ̀ ara ẹ̀ wọn ò dẹ̀ lè gbọ́ mọ́ àwọn tájọ́ ń ṣe kíní tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé ló méjèèjì Yorùbá nation náà ṣe tó ń gbọ́ wọn ṣe tíṣẹ̀ tó ṣe ọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀ wọ́n ti obìnrin ti ajá kí wọ́n lọ ó ní ó sì jẹ́ pé dání láti máa sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kí tí wọ́n máa là kí púpọ̀ tó gbélé wọn lára ẹni jáde tẹ̀sí lójáde so it's not anybody demonic onídẹ̀ẹ́dúpẹ́ onítìrí ni àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ máa gbàgbé àtúbọ̀tán lọ sí ọba gbàgbọ́dì fún àwọn ènìyàn ẹ̀ ó gbàgbé àtúbọ̀tán ó gbàgbé àwọn ọmọ tó fẹ́ fi sílẹ̀ àtàkọ́ ọgbọ́dọ̀ àdólọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀ tí ò lè mọ ọmọ inú ẹ̀ wọ̀ ó gbàgbé nǹkan tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ sáwọn ọmọ àti gbogbo àwọn tó ń tẹ̀lé ẹ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti wà ní Yorùbá nation tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tẹ́ ti gbogbo agbára sọ̀rọ̀ especially àwọn tó ti jẹ́ bíi agitator tó ti ní péjì tó ti ń kúra táwọn bá dalẹ̀ Yorùbá báyìí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn èmi ń sọ fún yín pé tẹ́ ẹ bá ṣe dalẹ̀ báyìí ẹ bá máa jẹ yín ẹ lè tra yín lé black lion àti ìyẹn kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ fẹ́ pé gbogbo wà pẹ̀lẹ́nu wọn ẹ bá ṣe kọ̀ọ̀kan tó dá ẹ bá ti fi oríṣiríṣi lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation tẹ́ ẹ dalẹ̀ Yorùbá nation bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń dà báyìí ẹ bá bá yín gbàgbọ́ ìyẹn ni mo kò fẹ́ wọ́n gbogbo wọn tó ń gbọ́ gbogbo kò sí nǹkan ẹgbẹ́ náà obìnrin yìí it is not part of us wọ́n tí mo kò fẹ́ sọ nìyẹn ẹjọ́ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀gbẹ́ gbogbo àti mo tọ́ báyìí gbogbo ara ti mọ̀ tipẹ́tipẹ́ pé KOIKIMEDIA àti a number of them they are really working tirelessly for this oníkẹ́dẹ́gbà that focus sí láti máa lo gbogbo àtàgbàrà àti finances wa láti support oríkà ìrẹ́ Ọlọ́run tí máa wá jàjà yẹn ń fi ọ̀rẹ́ ká lọ máa jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn wa máa mọ̀ pé ṣe bá ti sọ fún yín ẹ máa bọ̀ lé tí wàhálà bá ti tó tá a bá ti jẹ yín ìyá tó fẹ́fẹ́ jẹ tó bá ti jẹ yín torí yín bá ti tẹ̀ kẹ̀rọ ti pé Yorùbá nation wà níbi tó wà. Thank you, my brother. God be with you.
And èṣù tọ̀dọ̀ ti wá ní Satan òun ló dà pé ìyàwó fi sọ torí pé èṣù tilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni Ọláyọmí Koiki lèmi ń jẹ́ ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú Òde confam mo sọ fún yín pé tó bá wọn fi di Monday wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ sọ fún wa èdè tí sáìtì yóò ṣe ṣiṣẹ́ mọ́ gbogbo data tó wà níbẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n ti migrate ẹ̀ lọ ní àbí báwo and as we always say ìkọ̀kan náà kan ní gbogbo àjọ ń ṣe èyí táwọn ń ṣe ó yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan táwọn ń ṣe and nobody can tell me any other thing otherwise. Hello, caller, it goes okay.
Mr. Koiki, ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ kú iṣẹ́ o. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Really enjoy your show all the time.
Thank you.
God bless you. More strength.
Amen.
Please, mo ní ìbéèrè kan. Gbogbo àwọn ọgbẹ́rẹ̀ kájà tí àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n parọ́ tí wọ́n parọ́ máa wò ní nítorí pé mo sọ̀pọ̀ di occupation àbí èyí tí wọ́n parọ́ máa wò yàn wọ́n parọ́ mọ́ ṣé wọ́n lè tẹ́lẹ̀ wọn lọ sí kọ́ọ̀tù láti fi ẹnìkan tó fi wọn.
máa tẹ nídìí gbogbo yẹn intercom láti máa sọ fáwọn èèyàn wa náà nísìnyí ni pé ẹ mọ̀ pé reason why tí gbogbo kìíní ṣe dán ni pé a lot of us were expecting this platform and so many other platforms láti tètè condemn it. But the reason why we did not make that condemnation throughout last year is because we love our father, Baba Akitoye àti Baba Igboho. But àti wá rí pé the directive tó ń lọ, mo sọ pé àwọn tó mú wà ní pàǹtí nísìn. And it's just a shame that at the end of the day, that is where we find ourselves. Number one, we are fighting a demonic government. Àtúntò wá ní another internal problem tó ti destroy the system tí a ti build for 3 years. Kò ń ṣe pé torí pé àwa là ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin náà ní wàhálà tẹ́ ń ṣe náà olúkálùkù náà ní wàhálà tó ń ṣe nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ìrìn àjò yìí but we now have people that are saying ẹ ti gba country níbo lẹ ti gba country náà ta ló fún yín ní country náà that is stupidity in 2023 káwọn tó pàtó gbà lù a fẹ́ gbà lóòótọ́ a fẹ́ lọ lóòótọ́ but the process yẹn kò tí wà concluded mo dẹ̀ show yín lánàá how nígbà tí Sudan ní 2011 àríbí flag yẹn ṣe raise lọ sókè. And automatically anything to function to link wọn pẹ̀lú the other part ó máa wá di dialogue okay Dangote àìmá joe ó máa san tax fún wa okay Dangote a máa wá list kí ni ìtajọ ní tó wà ní north ta fẹ́ save kí ni ìtajọ ní ìwo la fẹ́ offset gbèsè tó wà ní Nàìjíríà we are talking about almost 77 trillion ìjìnlẹ̀ ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ nísìn rí ìjìnlẹ̀ gbàjáde. ó ti ṣe December ńbẹ̀ ó ti ṣe New Year níbẹ̀ and we are not talking about ìjìnlẹ̀ ṣé bàbá Akíntóyè ló bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ ni ṣé Ìgbòho ló bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ ni.
wọ́n ṣe pé kò adúrú bàbá mi ẹni ìmájí dá. Then irú àwọn èèyàn wá sọ pé ká mú tòwò ó máa sọ ká mú tòwò wọ́n wà ní láti lè fún ọ̀pọ̀ tí wọ́n sọ ní Kòkòrò. Wọ́n ní láti ṣe ìgbàgbọ́jà ìjọ tètè pọ̀ kó wọ́n lè gbogbo àwọn tí kò sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan. Gbogbo ọ̀pọ̀ táwọn ọgbọ́n lè kájà níbi àwọn ṣe gbogbo. Ìyá yìí sọ̀pọ̀tẹ̀ tí ò bá sọ̀pọ̀tẹ̀ wọn ò lè mọ kí ló dé ti bàbá ṣe pariwo máa jáde ìwọ fẹ́ kẹ́nìkan ní fún anybody mọ́ bàbá yìí náà máa sọ bàbá Akíntóyè máa sọ ẹ̀jẹ̀ má búra yín mọ́ ẹ má ṣe pé fúra yín mọ́ irú lédà wo ni ìyá onítìrí ìyá wọn irú lédà wo nìyẹn lédà tí ò lè kọ̀ntró àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ wọn tó bá ti gbélé ìwọ̀n àgbè sílẹ̀ tó bá ti gbélé ìwọ̀n àgbè sílẹ̀ lánàá èso níyàlé àmọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ irú láìpẹ́sì wo nìyẹn àwọn tó fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation fún wa nìyẹn tí wọ́n bá láti gbogbo àwọn pépè tí another way bá lè wà tí wọ́n bá fi lè boycott wọn wọ́n jẹ́ ká mú forward but if not wọ́n rán àwọn alámi lọ sí Kòtònú láti lọ gbọ́ ọ̀kan tó fẹ́ ṣe so báwo la ṣe fẹ́ mú forward in this
and that's why there's a lot of a lot of strategy because gbogbo platform pátápátá ló ti wà infiltrated látòkè délẹ̀ ó ti wà divided sinto divide ta hold for 3 years ẹ rò pé easy láti kóra wa jọ ni ṣèbẹ́rẹ̀ náà lẹ́bẹ̀ẹ́ mi náà nígbà tẹ́mi náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ Koiki má sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ calm down a mọ̀ pé ẹni a má sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ àgbàlagbà wọ́n a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí calm down àwa build gbogbo ara wa for 3 years láàrin ẹ̀ náà a sì ń disagree o ẹ wo bó ṣe wà nísìn everywhere ti pín nísìn because ẹ bá wà nínú platform kan nísìn ẹ̀mọ́ tó wà ń bẹ̀ mọ́ nísìn so wá ti di pé ẹlòmíì sọ̀rọ̀ sọ nínú platform ẹlòmíì tó ní platform gan sẹ̀ wọ́n ti gbà dànù it's just unbelievable ẹ wá ní kí Yorùbá nation ti jáde àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ deal pẹ̀lú this internal problem kò lè ti jáde.
ilé ìkẹyìn náà ṣe diplomatic lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìyá mi fi ojútó àwa mọ̀ ní àwọn support yìí ilé ìkẹyìn ṣe diplomatic lórí ọ̀rọ̀ wọn ìtú tó jẹ́ kọ́mà lórí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ló bá tó nínú platform yìí láti wá pọ̀ pọ̀tẹ́.
Because it's just unbelievable. Àní ọtí ọ̀hún náà ló sọ pé jẹ ẹ mọ̀ pé èmi mo put ẹ̀ síta mo ní wọ́n ti lo 40 media ẹ ṣe gan ni grandma ẹ ṣe gan ni mọ̀ thank you so much wọ́n lo 40 media ibi báyìí láti promote wọn a sì ní gbogbo content yẹn nínú system tá a fi operate àwọn òyà kan wá rò pé bóyá torí pé obìnrin ni wọ́n like wọn and disagree pẹ̀lú kí ni gbogbo nonsense a promote èèyàn for 40 for the period of the time tí gbogbo our people we were running the same agenda but this time around fraction tí wá wà nísìn àwọn kan wá expect pé káwa tún wá promote that same agenda tí wọ́n gbé dání yẹn agenda wọ́n gbé dání they wọ́n ní agenda kankan tó gbé dání. And internet fi destroy ẹ ní pé kò tún pé a ti declare nation wa and moment táwọn èèyàn gbọ́ pa ti declare country by bàbá Ìgbòho ó kàn fi wá cruise ní Ìgbòho I read their comments and sometimes I ask myself how did we get to this nonsense ẹ má bínú mọ̀ nígbà kọ́ọ̀mù so that because of my time how did we get there it's because there was an agenda within them tí àwọn ò ní mind because inú kan làwọn òkè èèyàn kan ní ẹ pé bọ̀ kí ló dé ta ṣe promote wọn wọn ń ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá ni we have the right to promote everybody the only person tell me to promote ní bíbá because of intelligence tí mo ti tètè gbọ́ òun ni Bánkọ́lé tí bá sọ fún yín pé mo meet Bánkọ́lé nígbà tí mo lọ bá bàbá Akíntóyè rí nílé Ifẹ̀ so Bánkọ́lé gan tí mo meet tí mo rí sójú kòrókòró mo ní picture yẹn nígbà tó náà ní Bánkọ́lé pé ó rà kó ti wà lọ́dọ̀ bàbá a day before nígbà tí mo wà nílé that was how I met him àwọn méjì ni bàbá tẹ̀ nígbà àwọn ní kó tẹsẹ̀ dúró nígbà tá a fi ṣàṣọ̀rọ̀ rédíò yẹn lọ ó dẹ̀ ní ọ̀rọ̀ rédíò yẹn pé òun mọ̀ kankan nípa line táwọn fi gbé jáde yẹn so ẹni táwọn ò dẹ̀ rí tí bàbá Akíntóyè dẹ̀ jáde pé ẹ lọ bá wa promote ìyá yìí àwa promote délẹ̀ ẹ wá ń sọ pé Koiki èmi ọmọ lóyè ọlọ́wọ́n máa jẹ́ kí n ráṣe èmi wá jẹ́ bí balógun Èkó ni ṣé èmi jọ balógun Èkó ọ̀rẹ́ mi àtàtà ni èmi jẹ́ balógun Èkó tó máa wá jáde tí máa sọ fún yín pé mo gbọ́ sétí àbí èmi àti kódà wọ́n ní èmi àti Ìgbòho ṣe mítìn ní ṣọ́ọ̀pù kan tí mo ti ní bí i 14 years ago wọ́n níbẹ̀ lèmi àti Ìgbòho ti ṣe mítìn kò sí kódà mo máa avoid the meeting gan ni because àmà wà ń bẹ̀ tí wọ́n sì pè mí sí kan níjọ́ Monday kì í má go into too much details wàláì nígbà tó pè mí sínú meeting yẹn mo sọ fún ọ point blank mo ní tó bá yẹ pé tìyọ ní tìrì mo ní mo ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ life lẹ́gbọ́n ni mo sọ yẹn níjọ́ Monday àwọn tó ń gbọ́ ọ wà ní meeting báyìí ọwọ́ òbí báyìí nísì níjọ́ Monday wọn náà fẹ́ parí mo ní ìjà wo lẹ fẹ́ parí mo ní láyé wọ́n ní pé tó bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé kò ń ṣe tọ̀rọ̀ ya ní tìrì ní kan là ń sọ níbí báyìí mo ní tó bá yẹ pé tọ̀rọ̀ ti media ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe meeting míì glory tẹ̀ ya ní tìrì mo ní mi sorry gan I said it live níjọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Monday ni mo sọ yìí ojú ọ̀run ló ti jí mi mo ní tìyà ní tì mo ní no I'm not interested mo ní kàn ṣe pé torí pé mo jẹ́ PA Ìgbòho mo ní as a person personally to myself mo ní tó bá jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tìyà onítìrì mo ní ẹrú lè mi out and I left that meeting life lẹ́yìn gbọ́ tí mo sọ yìí níjọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Monday ni mo sọ yìí àwọn mídíà tó wà níbẹ̀ afẹ́ tó bí i 14 mo fi wọ́n sílẹ̀ náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ọgbọ́n nọ́ọ̀sẹ̀sì ẹ̀ èmi wá jẹ́ bí stupid man ni èmi ọmọ 44 years old orí mi wá dàrú ni tíyàn kan wá ṣe sọ pé ìjọ làwọn dé níjọ́ wo làwọn dé tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n point finger pé mi pé èmi fẹ́ support kò ní da fún gbogbo yín èmi fẹ́ support Tinubu who the hell is Tinubu ò náwó tí bàbá tèmi ní tí bàbá mi tó kú Tinubu ò nírò owó yẹn ibo làwọn Tinubu wà nígbà tí bàbá tèmi wà láyé MKO Abiola concept níbo lòun wà nígbà tí bàbá tèmi wà láyé who the hell is MKO Abiola àmọ́ gbogbo tí MKO Abiola ṣe ni òun náà jalè ní náà ṣé MKO Abiola ò jalè ni tèmi torí pé gbogbo yẹn apààyàn tì sẹ́gbẹ́ ni ìtorí pé Kọ́lá Abiola kọ́ nísìnyí kọ́ ló náà òun fẹ́ lọ pọ̀ òun máa imprison Ìgbòho àti bàbá Akíntóyè ṣé family line kan náà kan ní gbogbo wọn ni what the hell are they so ẹ yẹ ká ara ṣe sùúrù so gbogbo nonsense ẹ̀ ń ṣe gbogbo papọ̀ ṣé òun jáde ni ṣé ẹ kó níbẹ̀ jáde wá gbogbo gbàtà ní ṣe mítà ní ṣe rally níbo ní ṣé ẹ kó níbẹ̀ wá òun ò ṣe jáde wá so ẹ jẹ́ kí n ra dé mọ́bẹ̀ èmi ò ṣe fracas o fact lèmi mú jáde ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ náà wá sí rally pé òun rí ní rally tá a ṣe ní UK for 2 years continuously kó fún mi ní fídíò yẹn àti picture àwa ẹ mọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe ń jáde ti lọ sí Central London yẹn pẹ̀lú heritage pẹ̀lú gbẹ̀dú ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn kan wà tó ń tẹ́kì proper picture wa tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n gbé síbì kan báyìí nísìn táwọn tó ń ṣe lórí ẹ̀ ẹ mọ̀ tó ń pè ní UK ni ìyàwó àjọkọ̀ sórí social media àwọn ń pariwo mad people all over the place so èmi jáde for 3 good years mo rẹ̀ ṣe ń jáde lójoojúmọ́ àwọn èèyàn rẹ̀ ń pàdé mi lẹ́yìn kọ̀ọ̀kan Mr. Koiki lélẹ̀ ẹlòmíà níjọ́ Friday bí ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn ṣe ń lọ sí ilé ni bó ṣe rí mi Mr. Koiki mo níbẹ̀ ni mo máa ń bójú tí bá jáde ni so what am I trying to say is àwọn ò ṣe fracas but the reality ni pé ẹ lè destroy movement yìí kẹwàá fẹ́ push Ìgbòho sí Ìgbòho wá jáde nísìn èmi Balógun Èkó dẹ̀ náà wò jà fún Yorùbá nation ó náà dẹ̀ ní right ó dẹ̀ ní right ẹ̀ lóòótọ́ but ní tí mo ṣe wá ṣe analysis ní nǹkan tó sọ ni pé òun náà sọ pé IRA ogun ló fi jà so ó ṣe wá ń sọ pé àwọ̀ pé káwa máa ti jagun so káwọn olè politician wa kọ́ lè máa suppress àwọn èèyàn wa tó bá fẹ́ dogun kó dogun kẹfì kí ìlú wà ní pieces ó sàn ju bó ṣe wà báyìí lọ èmi tẹ̀ sọ pé kí earthquake wà ní Nàìjíríà kí support lè wà because ẹ̀wọ̀n tó lọ ní Turkey nísìn kọ́lọ̀ bá ń dúró táwọn tó wà ní Turkey mo wọ́n fídíò gbogbo Turkey yẹn ó fún mi ní concern láti bíjọ́ mẹ́ta nísìn but in tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà ó ti fún wa ní concern àwa rántí mọ́ pé concern yẹn ó ń fún wa ní depression Nàìjíríà fún gbogbo wa ní depression for 24 years ṣé kò fẹ́yìn ní depression tèmi fi wà ní UK èèyàn kan wá dé àwọn náà ti gba country àṣẹ bó ṣe ń gba country náà nìyẹn àwọn nìyẹn ó ní process ẹ kó jágbajàgba lọ no be juju be that à ń sọ̀rọ̀ reality ṣé ìtawá ń ṣe àṣẹ script là ń play ṣé mo ní paper kan tí mo fi sọ pé Koiki tó wá ti dórí ètò lẹ́yìn o ẹrù bí ṣe máa ń ṣe program nígbà míì màá tún lọ báyìí màá tún padà báyìí because afẹ́jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn rí knowledge international man tí mò ń play yìí nísìn àná ni mo pàdé ẹ̀ rí pé tẹ́ni tó bá lọ wo timeline mi mo ṣe screenshot inú tv mi mo ti wò mo ní ohun tí bọ̀ mọ́ ẹ̀ sọ a máa farabalẹ̀ bí a ní ọjọ́ míì mo máa padà wá lálẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run láti ní Friday a ṣe late night so ẹ fọkànbalẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín wọ́n ní Koiki máa ń dẹnu sórí wọn máa lè tó sùn nílé Ìgbòho wọn kò mọ̀ dárúkọ ẹ àbí kí n dárúkọ ẹ oh my God jẹ́ máa ti dárúkọ ẹ ìwọ jẹun nínú ilé Ìgbòho òun mọmi nínú ilé Ìgbòho òun fi Ìgbòho ta yín káàkiri torí ìyá onítìrì ìwọ sùn nínú ilé ìyá onítìrì rí ni ṣé ìwọ àti wọn jọ jókòó rí tẹjọ ríra face to face ṣé ìwọ àti wọn jọ ríra ó lè máa pààyàn kẹ bọ̀bọ̀ tí mo sọ yìí Ọlọ́run tẹ̀ ló yọ mí tí mo lọ lé tí mo padà I can imagine so many of you wanted to kill me Ọlọ́run ló fún yín ṣe irú ilé akọ ọ̀yàn dànù wọ́n kọ̀ lè ní Koiki sùn kò jí mọ́ Ọlọ́run máa yẹ kárí kò sí dáadáa ìwọ sùn nínú ilé Ìgbòho lójoojúmọ́ ìwọ sùn ṣọ́kọ̀ sùn nínú ilé ìyá rí tìrírí ni tí ó mọ ibi tó ń gbé ni tó bá mọ ibi tó ń gbé mo challenge lọ síbẹ̀ kó ṣe fídíò pẹ̀lú wọn live ó lọ Kútọ̀nù ó gbé nínú ilé Ìgbòho for month ọlá tèmi dẹ̀ ló fi wọnú ilé Ìgbòho àtọ́lá Ọlọ́run ọlá tèmi ni púpọ̀ ní fi wọnú ilé Ìgbòho confam ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn ọlá pé Koiki ló jẹ́ kí púpọ̀ ní wọnú ilé Ìgbòho because tí bá sọ fún chief pé ìtanikẹ́ máa wá tìbí mo ṣe tẹ́ǹtì náà KOIKIMEDIA ó wá kọ orúkọ ẹ̀ sórí tẹ́ǹtì ṣé ẹ ti ṣe tẹ́ǹtì mi láti gbà yẹn ẹ̀yin wèrè tẹ́ǹtì tí mo ṣe sí ilé chief èèyàn kan wá ní àgbàtẹ́ pọ̀ wọ́n lólówó kọ orúkọ ẹ̀ sí náà kọ́ wọ́n ní Koiki ti ṣe tẹ́ǹtì ó ti ṣe tẹ́ǹtì ó kọ orúkọ tiẹ̀ sí látijọ́ tí tẹ́ǹtì yẹn ti wà níbẹ̀ wọn ò tí tún ṣe míì tó kọ orúkọ mídíà mi sí tẹ́ǹtì yẹn dẹ̀ ni wọ́n ń lò àfi tá a bá tún gba extra sí because èmi rí foresight èmi rí long view pé àwọn tó ń wá kí chief ó yẹ tó bá dẹ̀ ní kó wà níta ó lè má wà níta ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe kọ́kàn ló bá lókè àkọ́kọ́ tí ìkan náà gbá mi níjọ́ kan tí a wá tún ní kẹ́lòmí lọ bá wa gba 10 lọ́wọ́ surprise tẹ́ eye táwọn tó ń dá ìyàwó mi ní ṣé àmà wòrán tí ẹ o mọ̀ pé wọ́n gbé nílùú ìlú òyìnbó ló ń gbé ibi báyìí wọ́n fún ọkùnrin lówó obìnrin náà máa ń fún lówó so bó ṣe ń fún wọn lówó yẹn wọ́n máa rò pé bóyá gay ní ẹ̀gúnṣẹ̀ Ọlọ́run ló ní kó lóye má jẹ́ gay ó sùn nínú ilé Ìgbòho ìwọ ń jẹun nínú ilé Ìgbòho ó wá ń fi Ìgbòho ta yín lórí èmi sọ fún yín pé WhatsApp group they are just chat room ni mo ń dọkumẹ́ǹtì gbogbo kìíní ẹ̀ bó ṣe ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí mi ọ̀hún pé journalist lè ní mo ń pa ìpolẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ ń kọrúkọ ẹ̀ sí mo ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ email list láyé tí fóònù mi bá crash gbogbo nǹkan wà nínú cloud náà ń tọ́jú nǹkan sí nísìn ó kù díẹ̀ bí orí ìyá yẹn rí àti Ìgbòho èyí tó rí tó sùn wàá sọ méjèèjì fún mi tó bá tó àsìkò ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ wá ń fi Ìgbòho ta yín àti bàbá Akíntóyè ẹ súnmọ́ bíbà ẹ máa ṣe lọ àwọ̀ ní kankan tá a máa sọ fún yín torí pé Ìgbòho ní kémi bú anybody láì ní bú yín bó tó bá jẹ́ pé inú kan tèmi rí pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho tèmi gbé pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ for 6 months tí mo wà pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ tí mo dẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ kódà ó ń travel èmi ló ń hand over ilé fún pé coordinator ẹ̀yin ni Ọlọ́run nìyẹn Ọlọ́run ọba adájọ́ gbogbo wa tó bá jẹ́ pé Ìgbòho ń ṣe torí owó ni adájọ́ fẹ̀yìn tẹ̀ ń bu lórí ẹ wá sọ Ìgbòho dẹ́n tẹ́ fẹ́ máa fi comment ẹ̀ máa kó o bẹ̀ kó òun ò ní rí àwa tá à ń rí náà làwọn àpá yóò fi ti wá bí báyìí àbí ẹ mọ̀rọ̀ sọ no problem àní jù báyẹn lọ èèyàn wa ẹ jẹ́ ká tún fún yín ní ìdánsì Ìgbòho jẹ́ kọ́mọ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín pé àtìyá yín o àti bàbá yín o gbogbo yín pátápátá bàbá gbogbo yín pátá òun ni Nnamdi Kanu àti Ìgbòho Nnamdi Kanu dẹ̀ lè kú sí DSS custody tó bá kú sí DSS custody federal government gan máa laná báwa ò bá tẹ̀ ní balls láti ṣe nǹkan kan nínú oṣù táwa yìí ẹ lọ gbáradì fáwọn ọmọ Ìgbò confam rẹ gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn táwọn ò bá ní balls lèmi tẹ́ ń sọ̀rí o táà bá ní balls tí mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pa ní balls nítorí pé Ìgbòho lè wà níbẹ̀ kí n sọ pé à ní balls wàláì confam ni ohun ẹ̀ lásán tó ń gbọ́ wọ́n mọ̀ pé ìmọ́lẹ̀ ni ohun ẹ̀ lásán tó ń gbọ́ wọ́n mọ̀ pé ìmọ́lẹ̀ ni mo ń bọ̀ nù ẹ̀dá pílẹ̀ ẹ túbọ̀ máa bú o ẹ máa bú dáadáa kẹ máa fi ta yín no problem àwa ò ní bú yín torí pé kò ní kí n búyàn bàbá Akíntóyè náà dẹ̀ ní kí n búyàn but ẹ̀yin ní Ọlọ́run ni òun ni máa sọ fún yín. mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí i aṣọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ jímọ̀ tí bá ti lọ káàkiri tí bá ti délé màá wá sùn tó ẹ pàdé mi ní alẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run àmọ́ táyì tá máa jáde ó lè jẹ́wọ́ 10 nípa àwọn ọmọ òdua táwa ti ṣe gbogbo tí wọ́n náà ti wọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìní àti àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ àríyá tiwa ẹ jẹ́ ká fọkàn balẹ̀ ó ń ṣọmọ lókùú bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Nàìjíríà Nàìjíríà ti fẹ́ dà wó wàláì Nàìjíríà ti fẹ́ dà wó it's just ó ń fì báyìí ó ń lọ báyìí ó ń fì báyìí ó ń lọ báyìí a dẹ̀ fẹ́ já wálẹ̀ kò wá ń ṣàwà nìkan la fẹ́ já wálẹ̀ mọ́ nísìn àwọn Nigerians gangan bínú pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ńlẹ̀ yìí gàrí don pass ọ̀tá ẹ̀sùn bẹ́ńbẹ́ ẹ̀yin lẹ́ẹ̀ máa sọ wọn pé Koiki àti wà níta kò jẹ́ àwọn Yorùbá nation gbọ̀dọ̀ yìí ti ṣe tán ṣẹ̀rá àwọn Nigerians those youth that we are talking to I know some of you want to japa you will not be able to japa you know why ẹ kì í sọ fún yín ẹ jẹ́ kí n mú yẹn sínú náà for now all the embassies are not going to issue any visa for now. Ìtọ́ bá ń process nìkan lọ́wọ́ ló máa lọ́kì. Àfẹ́ni tó bá jẹ́ pé fámìlì ẹ̀ gangan wọ́n bí síbí àbí kankan tó ti gbàwé nìkan. Ó ń ṣe pé there is now going to be restrictions of visa temporarily until after the election, that is if election will hold. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wá wà níta tẹ́ ẹ̀ níwèé Ọlọ́run ajẹ́ ń ṣe fún yín. Ẹni ìwé lágbára Ọlọ́run tí wàhálà bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ẹ forget it we will all claim asylum àtẹ̀mí àtẹ̀yìn gbogbo wa máa claim asylum gbogbo wa la máa jẹ breakfast gbogbo wa pátá níbo ni wọ́n ti ní ká unite níbo ló ṣe sọ di Manchester United ṣàtọ̀ pàǹjà ní bíbá ṣé ìbàjẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí fracas room ni ọmọ kí n máa ń rí ẹ káàkiri drizzy fresh 1 2 3 gbogbo ní pátápátá ni máa ń rí. I'm not stupid though. So don't come here and tell us, can unite. Àwọn làǹbájà, ṣé mo bẹ́ẹ̀ jà? Ṣé àwọn tó lọ, ṣé mo bá wọn jà? Gbogbo àwọn tó wà lórí platform, tó ń káàkiri, tó lọ ń comment káàkiri, ṣé mo bá ń jà? Ẹ má wá síbà ìka sọ pé ká unite o, àbáyọ̀ kan jà o. Gbogbo comment pátápátá ni máa ń kà ní gbogbo. Èmi náà máa wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ kọ́ lè mọ̀ pé wọ́n wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ lè lé mi. Gbogbo àjọ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ṣe wà bẹ́ẹ̀ lèmi náà wà lọ. Ẹ̀ lè lé mi ni. Mobile and united. You know, I normally see you on the other side. So, if you buy one jar, I'm going to get lower problem to 1 year. Eh, but the Koiki dollar, wallahi. I yet I think about one in UK. I've been in Europe. Count to one in Google Arab country. I want to Koiki go to Manchester Parliament as any Google by Binu. Wallahi. I yet to Jenny by OT. Ìwọ tó ń wò mí ṣùkùṣùkù nílé kò ń ṣàyẹn ọmọ Yorùbá nìkan mo bá wí o àwọn tó wà nílé tó jẹ́ ọmọ Nàìjíríà ayé tí mo ti jẹ nílùú yìí ní 24 years wọ́n bí ẹ̀dá ò tí ì jẹ́ confam ni mo sọ fún ẹ̀yin life tí mo gbé níbí báyìí fún 24 years wàá kọ́kọ́ lọ gba visa wàá wọnú system bí akitẹ̀ máa ṣe 30 minutes my life in UK àbí kitẹ̀ fi àbí ẹ̀rọ pé owó YouTube láfi fi jẹun ni no àlùbáríkà ni ìyá tó bí mi mo bá nílùú yìí 1991 ló dé gbogbo wa tó dẹ̀ bí la wà níbí confam so pé à ń wo in tó ń lọ ní Nàìjíríà à ń yún yín àwọn tó wà lẹ́nì tá bá fi dídà tiwa gẹ́gẹ́gẹ́gẹ́gẹ́ àwọn à ń yún ẹ̀yin tẹ wà nílé ló ń mu bàbá kí tó yẹ pé kí ń ran Nàìjíríà iná Yorùbá kó kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà jagbajagba ìlú òṣèlú tẹ ká Kingsley, no go better, it go better for you. Those people wey say they will not work with autopilot. I don't want to swear today. Because my mama don't want me to make I know the swear. Simon Ekpa dey work. Oh put the picture on Jade. Don't you know that some of us have history before? Do you know that Simon Ekpa sáré fún Nigeria? Tó bá jẹ́ pé òun náà fẹ́ wà corrupt bí àwọn Kanu àwọn kò sí nǹkan kan tó ràn pa àwọn mídíà bára wa jà so ẹ má bọ̀rí ara yín ìjà kan ló fi parí níjọ́ Monday tí mo sọ fún wọn pé tá a bá fi parí ìjà a máa pe meeting mi kò ń ṣe meeting tí ẹ máa pè mí sí pẹ̀lú ìyá onítìrì mo sọ́ọ̀rì àwọn ò sí nínú meeting yẹn o but ẹni tó pe meeting yẹn pé no ẹ̀yẹ̀ mi kúrò nínú ẹ̀ mo lè bí ẹ̀ ṣọ̀rọ̀ mi tábà mo jáde lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. So let me say this, those of you Yoruba people ta máa ń sọ pé I like àwọn Biafra èmi náà like wọn tó bá yẹ pé ìtẹ́fẹ́ gbọ́ mi like àjọ like ara wa ni o bọ̀ lórí ìjà tájọ wà lórí ẹ̀yìn ọmọ ẹ jẹ́ kájọ dùn dáadáa. You think Sunday Igboho is stupid? You think Baba Akintoye is stupid? You think Baba Akintoye doesn't know the history to go and say let us align with the Biafra? Ka form Voltron ka nà Nàìjíríà pa òun lọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀. Tàbá wá débi tá à ń lọ tí Biafra bá tún wá náà fi wá encroach ilẹ̀ wa àwa tún wá bá wọn náà jà àjọ wa jàjà míì tàbá fẹ́ para wa kájọ para wa. But I don't think they are stupid to think like that. Fúlàní nìkan ló máa think like that. Gbalẹ̀gbalẹ̀ ni wọ́n they are like gypsy they move around. Ibi tó bá bá sí báyìí wàá bá òyìnbó àwọn ọmọ gay tó wà ní gbogbo títì wàá bá wọn àwọn dẹ̀ máa ń bímọ ebi yìí lẹ̀ tẹ̀ bímọ èèyàn mélòó ló ń bímọ nísìn ẹlòmíì bá ti bímọ méjì. Àwọn kan ní àwọn bàbá tiwa wọ́n jayé tó fi kú ni tó dẹ̀ tọ́jú gbogbo àwọn ìyàwó tó ní. Ìwọ bàbá tiẹ̀ fẹ́ ìyàwó kan nísìn ìwọ ló ń support ìyàwó yẹn nísìn bàbá ẹ̀ tó wá lọ fẹ́ ẹlòmíì tó lówó lọ́wọ́ mad people all over the place. Our media bára wa jà. The Yoruba world media is still ongoing. Àwọn kan dẹ̀ wà nínú ẹ̀ but we are still tó bá pe meeting gbogbo àmà join. Confirm rẹ̀ gbọ́ lẹ́nu yẹn kò ń ṣe gbogbo àwọn media tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ 40 media ló wà nínú Yorùbá world but tó bá pe meeting kan báyìí táwọn èèyàn bá ti pé media ni la máa click lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ and this is how we were operating. Ó lórí pé jagbajantis wọlé dé àwa promote ẹ̀ wá ń sọ fún àwa stupid àwa ọmọ tá à ń sọ ẹ̀ wá ní irú àwa ìgbọ́ tẹ̀bẹ́tẹ̀ ń sọ gbogbo àwọn èèyàn mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé yèyé dára yìí náà máa ń gbà sí fún yín ni tẹ̀bẹ́tẹ̀ ń sọ pé gbogbo èèyàn èmi lẹ wá ní mo gbà bọ̀dì fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá èmi Ọláyọmí Koiki mo rántí gbà tí wọ́n kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀ wọ́n fún àwọn Ìgbò yẹn ẹ pé this boy wey dey talk now they give me 20,000 mo dàbí wèrè lélẹ̀ ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ ó sọ $20,000 rùn ní intro ní 1980 mo sọ fún yín pé owó ń bẹ ṣẹ̀pẹ̀rẹ̀ ń bẹ nígbà yẹn ó dẹ̀ sì ń bẹ dọ́là 23 countries my mom has traveled to I can boast of that any day anytime tó bá dẹ̀ fi rí rẹ́kọ̀d máa fi wẹ̀ kọ́ tó bí mi ní 1978 ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ ìyàwó mi sọ nísìnyí pé ta ló tẹ̀ ní kọ́ máa ṣe English test British àwọn mo ní Margaret Thatcher ni òun ló dá wàhálà sílẹ̀ Margaret Thatcher ló change òfin last born wa ló jàǹfààní ẹ̀ owó ń bẹ kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ wá bírò àwa fún owó ń bẹ ṣẹ̀pẹ̀rẹ̀ wà tó ń náwó rẹpẹtẹ tó ń lọ Europe U-turn ni mo sì tèmi máa ń ṣe nínú in the 80s U-turn tó bá ti lọ níjọ́ Friday níjọ́ Sunday àjọ ń jẹ breakfast ni ìjẹ́ ìwọ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ní sí ariwo tá a ṣe ń pa ẹ wá fẹ́ compare ààrẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ mi èmi ọmọ olóyè bẹ́ẹ̀ ni I can post of it anytime ta ló mọ bàbá ti yín rí tẹ́lẹ̀ ta ló mọ ìyá ti yín ta ń ṣe politics ẹ̀gbà politics àmàlà politics tẹ́ fi affect aráàlú politics tẹ́ fi destroy ayé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá we will stop that by force by dialogue by pieces by diplomatic and on that note quarter-past ìlú Okoya Afọláyan kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ we love Baba Akintoye ẹ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ bí yèyé dára bá ń gbà sí fún yín nírọ̀lẹ́ a tún máa wà lórí program yẹn ni èmi á máa gbà sí fún yín láàárọ̀ Yorùbá world media máa gbà sí fún yín a máa ṣíwìdì bàbá yẹn délẹ̀ ni ẹ̀yin ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ 1 million yóò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kálẹ̀ yín èèyàn máa lè tẹ́ kúrò ẹlòmíì ò kúrò ẹlòmíì ò mọ bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ṣe rí tó bá dé kó máa sọnù ni èmi wo tèmi ti travel plane ni mo wọ̀ débi báyìí wàláì Gatwick airport plane ni ó gbé mi land sí bíbá so kó tó lè dé stage tèmi dé ìwọ ṣọwádìí ìwọ tó wà lamẹ́ríkà ìwọ olórí gbálagbàlà ó pè é ní ṣe ẹjẹ dé mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹjẹ sì dé mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ kàn má tu gbogbo ẹ̀tàn lẹ́yìn. mo kí gbogbo ilé ẹ̀sán sí ẹ pàdé mi lálẹ́ lágbára Elédùmarè Kingsley kí ló pa ẹlẹ́rìí alábòsí tàbí ẹ kì í sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ nílẹ̀ John kí ló dé tó ṣe sáré sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin tèmi gbogbo wa la máa jẹ breakfast èmi náà ní family nílé tó bá fẹ́ destroy go destroy alọ́mọ tutù oníbàjẹ́ fún ìyá mi bí Ajayi mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tèmi o Ìbàdàn Olúyọ̀lé wọ́n ni mo kọ́lé nígbà mo ní ìyá kọ́lé tó sí iná tó sí omi tó sí títì bí a ti bá tẹ̀ kọ́ màá ní káwọn staff máa lọ gbé bẹ̀ ìyàn kan tẹ̀ fún wa ní yàrá kan nígbà kan bí àwọn tó ní tìrì ni lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ wọ́n lé àwọn ọmọ mi kúrò níbẹ̀ níṣà wàláì what a sad situation ọ̀dọ́gbọ̀n ẹ mọ̀ pé mo wá gbé àyè nígbà kan tí mo ní kájọ kẹ́kẹ́ fún wa ní yàrá nídìí yàrá kankan mọ́ nísìn màá raise owó fọ́mọ yẹn a lọ gba room fún wàláì. It shows that you can't rely on some people. What trick ọmọ yẹn wọ́n gbọ̀n jáde bí àwọn tó ní tìrì ni mo sọ fún wọn yẹn mo ní mo ti lówó lọ́wọ́ a máa gba room fún ẹ not even room 2 bedroom owó ṣe pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ díẹ̀ ni ó kù díẹ̀ láwọn ọmọ tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ dáadáa. Ayẹ́kọ̀ọ́ jágbá lọ ìkọ́ntẹ̀sì lè dìkè lé àwọn yọ̀tẹ̀ àwọn káwọn obìnrin wọn lè tẹ́kẹ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀n pé mi sì lè gbàpọ̀ mọ́ra irú Lady K tó ń react sí ọ́díò kan December lọ ti fẹ́ mi ní soundtrack tèmi èmi dé pamọ́ ni ó wà lọ́wọ́ mi kí mo wá sórí iṣu kí n máa play ọ́díò kan wọ́n wò mí báyìí wọ́n wò mí àbí kí n gbá etí láti bíbà kálẹ̀ yìí gbogbo tẹ bá ṣe fún wa torí Yorùbá Nation lẹ ṣe òun ṣe fún Koiki Media ẹ kó bó ṣe ń ṣe yín lọ ẹ̀yin tèmi ẹ jẹ́ ká pàdé lálẹ́ torí kí n má lọ overshoot time ni àpáwà kẹrì aago la fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ nílùú yìí mad people all over the place Olayomi Koiki ni mò ń jẹ́ ẹ wojú mi dáadáa gbogbo tẹ bá fi cut nínú fídíò nìkẹ́ cut ẹ̀ mad people all over the place ìyá mi ti ní kí n máa ṣépè mi fún ọgbọ́n yín orí yín ò pè ẹ fẹ́ compare ara yín pẹ̀lú mi ẹ̀yin bọ́lẹ̀ kájà diaspora ẹ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́gbẹ́ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ àkọ́bí tí náà kó jókòó sórí screen kó máa pariwo Yorùbá Nation ìkọ́ntẹ̀ náà gba fóònù padà lọ́wọ́ Ọmọlúkà ẹ̀kọ́ Ọmọlúkà la fóònù yẹn mọ́lẹ̀ ó ní kò ní dá fún yín tó bá jẹ́ bá bẹ́ẹ̀ mi dánwó ẹ̀ wò anybody bá bá mi dánwó ṣe máa ṣe láìpẹ́ máa fọ́ fóònù yẹn mọ́lẹ̀ máa fọ́ ẹni tí wọ́n abẹ́ ẹja wèrè ni ẹ̀yin jẹ́ kò sínú kọ́ ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé risk làwọn yẹn ń take níbí ni Ọmọlúkà tẹ̀ náà tó ń dá fóònù ẹ̀ fọ́ fóònù yẹn mọ́lẹ̀ wá ní kọ́ máa bọ̀ láti Amẹ́ríkà kẹ́ bá gba fóònù yẹn kò ní dá fún gbogbo yín kálẹ̀ yín ẹ bá fún wa ní nǹkan ẹ̀ so what risk tá à ń pè kò tí tó kẹ́ pé kẹ́ máa sọ pé ẹ̀ fún wa ní nǹkan ẹ bá fi gbà padà ẹ kó bó ṣe ń ṣe yín lọ fún wa lówó ẹ bá fún wa lówó àní survive àwọn tó wà ní gan máa survive ó kù díẹ̀ ni tá bá la gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ tán ní everybody máa survive ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ṣẹ́gun ọ̀nà ẹ̀ǹpilẹ̀ anthem yẹn ni mo wá jàre kí n play anthem kí n máa lọ jàre ago ti ń lọ ago tẹ̀lé àfi ṣiṣẹ́ nílùú yìí tàwárí tó máa support ẹjọ́ ẹrù ta fi ránṣẹ́ sílé àti ó dà what is deliver ẹrù yẹn àdẹ̀ tí sanwó ẹrù wọ́n tẹ̀ tí surprise ẹ̀ fún mi gan bọ̀ kò ń ṣe kílò tó pọ̀ ẹni tó bá fẹ́ fún wa lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ fún wa a máa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín àwọn tó dẹ̀ ti fún wa tẹ́lẹ̀ náà fún wa mọ́ no problem ayé ò parẹ́ ìyá mi gbé mi lé pé bá pọ̀ wọ́n á fún kankan síbẹ̀ fún mi kò ní bàjẹ́ fún gbogbo yín o ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ àdúrà lásán kan ti tó bẹ́ẹ̀ náà dẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe làwọn ìyàwó mi ṣe àwọn kan béèrè pé ìyàwó mélòó ló ní gbogbo àwọn girama ni mo fẹ́ lórí social media ẹ ti mad bọ́lá ń tẹ̀ mọ́ àwájà rẹ̀ ẹ fẹ́ kí n bọ́ìlì díẹ̀ nìkan mo ti calm down lọ́lẹ̀ pa kò ṣe fracas lèmi máa ń ṣe Lady K ìyàmọ́ rẹ̀ bí Lady K ò lè hold ẹ̀ wá gbà sí fún yín ni tó bá ti rí ọ́díò kan bá ó máa ṣe program lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ní bá pọ̀ máa jókòó ẹ̀ máa rẹ́rìn ni ẹ̀yin kẹ̀ ẹ lè defeat bu àwọn 40 media àṣìmáyín ṣe díẹ̀díẹ̀ àti lọ́ọ̀yà wèrè kan tí yẹn ní tó rán wà lamẹ́ríkà lọ́ọ̀yà jàgbàjàgbà bó tẹ̀ wọ́ fídíò ẹ̀kan tó gbà sí fún ìyá onítìrì wá ṣe kú ṣẹ́ yẹ púpọ̀ ní yóò ní rí mi gẹ́ẹ̀tì mọ́ àti blọ́ọ̀kì nọ́mbà yìí ilẹ̀ pípẹ́ mi sọ̀rọ̀ fún mọ́ àbí tẹ́ bá tó lo nọ́mbà mi màá tún blọ́ọ̀kì ẹ̀ no I don't want to talk to nonsense people kàkà kẹ́ frustrate mi mo ti blọ́ọ̀kì nọ́mbà yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa wọ̀ ẹ́ fọ́ tv ẹ nínú ilé fọ́ tv ẹ kò fọ́ tí bá ń bẹ làgùnmọ́ tv ẹ problem ti ẹ nìyẹn làgùnmọ́ kò ń ṣe mi àyìnbó dáńtẹ́ mi wá wà báyìí kẹ́ báyìí ojú tèmi gan ojú mi má ti ṣúkẹ́ pẹ̀lú glasses lójú ìjìnlẹ̀ ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ẹ̀kí mo ti rí ìjìnlẹ̀ ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ nísìn ẹ̀rí nǹkan kan ṣe fún ọmọ ọlọ́mọ ẹ jẹ́ máa lọ. orílẹ̀-èdè ṣàgbéga online lawyer bẹ́ẹ̀ ní everything was told ló kò jẹ́ ilẹ̀ tó sì bá ti bẹ̀rù lórí blọọgù wọn dà driving at an express. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ etí jayajaya, ká ṣiṣẹ́. Ó dalẹ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ẹlẹ́ra dẹ́ta àfẹ́pàdé lálẹ́. Ní kẹjẹ́ ẹ̀yin tèmi lórí Mixlr. Tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun òòdà ẹnìkan àwọn mí ọmọ rí yo ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sí ipò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀. Ìyá mi Bridget ìwọ ní ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Twitter space lọ́la lágbára Ọlọ́run bá ṣe ń padà bọ̀ lálẹ́. Twitter space wa 4 o'clock a máa ṣe ẹni kẹta ìgbé pápárápárápá. Àní ìdí bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ẹja gbọ́ ìmáàmù Ọ̀fà bá ń gbá sí fún rẹ̀ àtàrà.
Wọ́n náà Nàìjíríà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n ní ẹ̀gbọ́n ọ̀gbọ́n ó fail everything ó fail everything ó fail everything bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sọ ìran ẹ̀ ló ń bá rẹ̀ máa tó.
Wọ́n kò jẹ́ gbà tí wọ́n lè yíwọ́ rí.
Àfáàwé náà wá sí òkè níbi wọn lọ ọmọ alága nínú ìkòkò ọmọ ìdá nù wọn. Kọ́lá sí Nàìjíríà máa gbọ́ bọ́ ìjọba gbègbè èmi wà náà tí ó máa sọ. Ẹyẹ gémi eré pa ẹgbẹ́ ìlú ní gbogbo nǹkan kò sẹ́ni kéde kò sí pa. Gbẹ̀yìn kọsẹ̀ kò lè rí òkú lọ fúdà. Ìṣílẹ̀ kò sómi. Wọ́n bó ìrọ̀lẹ́ lọ ọdún mẹ́fà wọn ò ní ṣe eruku pàrọ̀ àdúgbò tán.
Ọmọ Oòduà ọ̀gá Fúlàní ọ̀gá Fúlàní ọ̀gá Fúlàní ló jẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́ torí kò sílùú mìíràn. Ọmọ Oòduà ọ̀gá Fúlàní ọ̀gá Fúlàní ọ̀gá Fúlàní ló jẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́ torí kò sílùú mìíràn.
Life is so funny. You come with nothing, then fight for everything, and later leave everything and go back with empty hand. God is powerful.